Ash, welcome to the Supps pod.
Cheers, lads. Thank you.
How you doing, mate?
Not too bad. Not too bad yourselves.
Yeah, good, sir.
Yeah,
good,
doing
sir.
all right, yeah.
Good.
First time meeting you.
Yeah. Hopefully not the last.
Yeah.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
How you been, Maya? All right.
Yeah, all good, mate. Yeah, same shit, different days, they say.
Yeah, good man. Good man.
Ticking over nicely.
So I feel like with the podcast, we like to go back to how it all started with you. Obviously, how did you get to this position? Where did you come from? What were growing up like? Were you into sports? What were you like at school? Stuff like that. What were it like before all the business stuff?
So I grew up in Wakey. I didn't have a great upbringing, like split family and all that kind of jazz. Grew up around a lot of sort of violence and not nice stuff. Let's be fair. And that reflected in school. Very, very, very against the teachers. I just didn't like. I couldn't sit in an environment. They call it ADHD now.
Yeah,
but I found that it's been really, really good for me as I've developed business ideas and stuff. ADHD is probably the best thing to get because you can spin plates all over the gaff, and I just love it.
Well, I don't want to jump gun, but obviously with all the different businesses and stuff, yeah, you're right.
It's great like that. So like at school, I didn't do great academically. Exams I did. I was all right. I didn't get bad results. It's just I was that annoying kid that could make everyone laugh, but also listen to what teachers saying at the same time. So like, I'd be at the back of the class and they'd be like, excuse me, Ash, can you stop speaking? What did I just say then? And I'd be able to say what they've just said. And she's like, get out. And I'd spend most of my school life was in corridors. Right. Arguing back, just going against authority. Simple as that. I loved sport. Football, captain at football teams and stuff. But I ended up getting kicked out of my high school. I went to City High in Eastmoor first, got kicked out of there for fighting, and then I ended up going to Outwood Grange and managed to scrape my way through that school. But that's only because my head of year was a PE teacher. Right. So he just gave me a bit of slack. He knew that I was a good lad. I was a little shit. Yeah. I was a little shit. And I was a cocky little shit as well. And
you were a teacher, so I bet he's dealt with a few.
Well, that's the ironic thing is I ended up being a teacher myself.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, that's true.
Shit, right.
So when I left school, I knocked around, started at Morrison's, did about 2 weeks at Morrison's in Shrewsbury Road, and I hated it. I thought, is this life? You have to go to work, and my labour is worth more than this £4 an hour you're giving me, and you're giving me some dunce that I've got to work with who's like my partner at work, and he's showing me how to face up cereals. And I'm supposed to care about, it's like, eye level is bi level, mate. I'm like, all right, nice one. Yeah. Like facing up Weetabix and stuff like that. And it's like, this is not for me.
How long were you in there then?
I was there for about 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks.
About 2 weeks.
I thought you were going to say 2 years.
How did you leave? Like, was it?
Just didn't turn up from shift.
Yeah.
Just never went back. Yeah. I just literally never went back. And then knocked around, a bit of a dosser really. I didn't do anything. I just thought I didn't want a normal job. I knew I wanted to work for myself, but I just didn't know what to do. And then I dossed around for about 3 or 4 years, got into drinking, drugs, just hanging around with druggies, horrible people I don't speak to anymore. Like none of them, don't speak to any of them. Yeah. I had to cut every single person off. And then I went off to uni. I got a humanities degree, humanities pathway at college. So it was like an adult educational course at 21, and I went off to uni at 22. So I was deemed as old at 22. So all these lot were 18, and I went into
just
dorms.
Finished college.
I went into dorms and stuff at 22, and they're all 18. And they're looking at me like, "Who's this old granddad?" I'm like, "I'm 22, man. Jesus Christ!" And that's when I got into weights. I started lifting weights at uni. So I'd never even touched weights before then. Never.
Did you play sport before then?
Yeah, football. Yeah, I was good at football. I was boxing a lot. Did quite a bit of amateur boxing as a kid, and then. As you get in a little bit older, you get the distractions of drinking and girls and all them things that just come with it, and then it's like, well, had a bit of an injury, so then I just stopped it all, and then started getting on session as I'd say, and just being a bit of a dosser for a few years, genuinely, and didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I'd like eventually sort myself out, but I didn't know when. But I could have very easily gone down a terrible, terrible path.
Yeah.
And I was close to doing it.
Which a lot of people do, to be fair, don't they?
And then people that I hung about with are still doing the same thing now. They're just fatter and balder, and they're just doing the same thing. They're going to the pub on a Friday, getting bags in, and then doing it until Sunday, and then going back and doing the same thing every single week. And it weren't for me at all. I just knew, not that I was better than them, I'm not better than anybody, but I just thought, why am I with these people? Why am I surrounding myself? So when I went off to uni, I got my degree and I came back to work it, and they were all doing the same thing again. And I thought, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. And I just stopped speaking to all of them, and then went travelling. Ended up in Australia for a bit, which coincided with running the business and all that kind of stuff. So but I was a teacher, like I say, so we're kind of like mixing it all up here. But like when I graduated from uni, got my first teaching job at a school called Meadowcroft, which is opposite Pinderfields Hospital. It's the SEN school for kids who are, I'm going to be polite, way to put it, batshit crazy. They are batshit crazy. Yeah. Your main job was restraining them.
Right.
That's all you did. You got paid to restrain.
God.
And
what were you officially teaching? Like
PE. That's all I could teach, to be fair. But they were all right with me. The kids were all right with me because they got it. I come from the same sort of upbringing as them.
Yeah.
And they didn't rebel against me because I spoke to them like I'd speak to anybody. Like
it's about the rapport, isn't it? It's all about the rapport.
100% about the rapport, especially with them kind of kids, because they don't want to be spoke to like a kid. And these kids are very intelligent and very manipulative, and I won't stand for any of it with any of them. So I've been like you, and I was exactly like what you're doing. And in fact, it went through my head before you did it. I wanted to do what you just did.
Kids always do that, don't they? They come up with something that they think they're the first people to do it.
Oh yeah, of
course.
Spot
an absolute mile off. They think they're geniuses, and you're just like, hang on a minute.
It was mad. So I worked at Meadowcroft School for a while, and then I left there and went to Hallcliffe in Horbury. And I worked there for.
That's another SEN school.
Another SEN school it was, I worked there for two years, and then we had this head teacher come in who was basically spitting image of Miss Trunchbull. I'd be surprised if she didn't have a choke in her office, I swear. And she was horrible. She came in with these ideas of delusion of grandeur. She came in thinking, wanted all teachers to wear suits and waistcoats and stuff, and ties. And after the first few days, all kids were grabbing ties, choking teachers out and stuff like that. So I just stood up for teachers, and I was like, what the fuck, what are you going to do to stop this? Is it going to take someone to die for you to stop this crap? She went, I think this is something we should be sorting in my office. I went, you can sort it here, anywhere, whatever you want to do. And I did what everyone wants to do. I told the boss to fuck off. And to her face, and I said, fuck you, fuck your job, I'm going.
Fairs.
By the time I'd walked to the car park, I went, what the fuck have I just done? I've just thrown away my job, possibly my career, everything. And that was at the car park. I couldn't turn around. My pride and my balls wouldn't let me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean what I just said. So that was when it was like, how do I sort it from here? What am I going to do? And people are always asking me, like, what supplements should I take? What should I do? As you'll know yourself, like, I thought, how hard could it be to set up my own supplement brand? I'm sick of telling people to go use other companies. Why can't I do this? I had no job, I had nothing. I thought, let's do it. And then, weirdly enough, I watched, the film American Gangster? Denzel Washington. Unbelievable film. It's about Frank Lucas. He used to be a heroin dealer. And he wanted to go straight to source to get his stuff. No cutting about, no messing. He wanted to speak to the big boy and get it shipped over pure. So I just put some feelers out and see where these factories make supplements, make the raw powders, and sent some emails. And it was, ironically, it was Vietnam. And I booked a one-way ticket and off I went. And stayed in a village about 3 hours outside of Hanoi. And I stayed there for about 3 months. Living in the village, couldn't speak a word of Vietnamese. I got by with pointing and stuff like that. And we developed the powders, and then the brand grew and grew and grew, and it is what it is now. It's growing.
Amazing.
Wow.
That's such a sick story, though, isn't it?
It's a mad story, honestly.
It's not usually that.
It's more like
ballsy, is it?
As well, I want to peg to being a teacher, to go from a teacher to that and leaving in that, particularly like a SEN teacher. and then to go and exit like that, and then
that was a mad exit.
Yeah.
I came out of her office, left the door open, came out of the office, and there were a TA there, and I'm like, "Have you got a pen on you?" I think we call Mr. Ainscore, yeah, something like that. I said, "Have you got a pen on you?" He's like, yeah. Like, gives it here. Got a pen and did my resignation on a tissue and threw it at her.
Nice.
Honestly, I did a blade of glory. Like,
that is amazing.
Honestly, and I left my food in the fridge. I was fuming.
I love
I left my lunch in the fridge. I still think about that to this day.
That'd have been funny if you'd have gone back to get your lunch.
Excuse me, I just want to
sorry, I forgot my lunch. Got my gains to make, see you there.
So did you do the travelling before you went into teaching then? So you
No, I did.
Australia
I did it all. I did it all after. So I set up the business. Came back to England.
Yeah.
I set up, and I was just doing about 10, selling about 10 tubs a week or something.
Ticking
nothing,
over.
just nothing really. And I thought, right, if I'm going to knuckle down, I want to go travelling, so I'm going to go travelling. Then I went around Southeast Asia and then Australia, and then I came back and knuckled down and just away it went, and it was just through social media, through grinding constantly, from selling 10 tubs a week to now we sell about 400-500 orders a week.
Nice.
Sometimes we do 1,000 orders. It depends. Obviously, you'll know yourself with Black Friday and the January Warriors. I love them.
Yeah,
come through.
It's good for us, isn't it? It's good for our business.
COVID was the best time. That's when I think a lot of supplement companies grew. I think a lot of online coaches grew at that point. I did online coaching for quite a while, as most people did. I can't remember what year it was I started doing that. It was just, I took on about 5 or 6 clients just to tick me over while I was travelling, just to get me my beer money, basically, and my hostel money. That was literally all I was doing. And then, like I say, COVID, I was actually in Australia. I'd moved pretty much over to Australia. So the brand was running in England at this point, and I was taking it over to Australia because that's where I wanted to end up. And COVID hit, and I had a choice to make, and it was basically come back home and properly just set up the company and focus on UK.
Just that,
or stay in Australia on my student visa and live there and do whatever there. I don't know what I was going to do, but I made the decision to come back to the UK.
Nice.
And,
so you probably wouldn't have been able to do what you're doing in Oz, would you? Because it's capsules.
No,
I mean, it's some of the products as well.
Some of the products I can't sell. There's certain legislations and hoops you have to jump through in Australia.
It's not as easy.
It's hard. It's really hard. Like when I first did my own pre-workout, I had to change the ingredients list for UK and Australia because
you?
There were certain levels of caffeine you weren't allowed at that point.
Yeah,
There were certain levels of amino acids you weren't allowed in at that point. Beta-alanine, you weren't allowed. I can't remember whether it's 300 milligrams or 3,000 milligrams per serving. You weren't allowed.
Have you seen the labels in for pre-workouts in Oz? It says drink. Let's say you have a pre-workout that's 300 milligrams of caffeine. It says to drink it with something like 3 litre of water, doesn't it?
But it'll also say it's 4 servings as well. They get a Red Bull can and it'll say this is 4 servings. So do you know what I mean?
It's just daft, isn't it? Because everyone just knows you're taking a full scoop.
Everyone knows, but it's just stupid loopholes and stuff you have to jump through in order to try and get something to pass. And I thought of that because I went over on my student visa to Australia to do the biochemistry degree.
Right. And
that was the only reason why I got into Australia with that visa.
Right.
And it's a 3-year visa with an extension of 1 more if you pass your visa, and then you'll get a job opportunity or sponsored or whatever.
Yeah.
And then COVID obviously hit, and then I came back to the UK. I paid 19 grand for this because you don't get any free education in Australia. And they won't give me money back. Because they said they're still offering me the course. So I'd have had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday and a Thursday to attend my lectures online. I'm like, you might be offering the course, but that's not offering me the course, is it?
No.
I've got a student visa for a reason, so I could come to your beautiful country and study there. I'm not doing it from a shithole studio apartment I'm renting because that's all I could get when I got back to England. Because when I got back, you couldn't speak to anyone. I had to do an online viewing. There were no apartments available. All the hotels were shut. It was mental, and I got a studio apartment. I was just living out of there. there was thousands of bottles of supplements in my tiny little apartment. If a copper came round to my house, he would have had a field day because he'd have been like, what are all these loose powders? What are all these loose capsules? They'd have been taking everything, like, what's that? That's all right. What's that one? Honestly, it was a mad time, but
crazy that, isn't it?
During COVID, it grew exponentially.
Yeah.
It went absolutely insane because everyone sat at home, they've got a bit more money. And that's when I started to dumb down on understanding Google and understanding marketing, SEO, understanding how to get on that first page of Google, understanding Google shopping, and just being a geek. And I didn't speak to anyone. I didn't speak to anybody. It was weird. I just went through a stage of probably about 6 months speaking to maximum of 3 people in that whole time. Consistently speaking to them, but just 3 people.
Just in your zone.
Just literally in my zone and like working till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and just staring at a computer screen.
Because obviously your background up until that point won't have had anything marketing related, would it?
No.
Building websites, doing all that stuff.
No, I can't concentrate on that sort of stuff, but it's a means to an end. I saw that there's a chance here, like there's a hole, there's a little gap in this market, and I've got all the raws, I've got all the powders, I've got everything set up properly, and I've cut the middleman out, I've cut the wholesale middleman out, I've cut everything out, so I can make some serious dough with this. And that's what I thought. Oh, I've got to seriously concentrate now and sort myself out. Luckily, touch wood, it's still going good, but I always pinch myself every day, like, because I swear, I don't know if you're allowed to properly swear on this podcast, but
go
I've never masturbated over a digit before, but I saw a digit come through one month, right? And I was like, Jesus. I used to have to work 3 years for that. And that was 1 month's worth work. It was like 40 odd grand we'd made in a month, and I was like, now this is something here that I've got to proper concentrate on, and I need to hold on to this.
Most people don't strike gold on the first business either, do they? Or at least you hear that anyway. Like.
No, but and this is my first business. I mean, it's definitely not my last, but it's my first one, and I'm learning on the job. I've made loads of mistakes, and I make them every day. I make them every single day, and I'm learning on the job. I don't know half of the time what I'm doing with email marketing. I'm chucking money. I was chucking money at Facebook ads and boosting posts and. The algorithms on that, they mess up, don't they? If you're boosting posts constantly, they know, they're spending money here. So if you put a natural post out and don't boost it, they're not going to show it to people because they think, we'll get money out of it.
Yeah, it's fucked, is that, isn't it?
It's
you
the
think
algorithms
you're putting more
and stuff.
money in, but
it's crazy.
Tanking your engagement.
And the Google Analytics as well is another thing. We're constantly checking that all the time, understanding clicks and CTR and just proper immersing myself into it. And understanding how to do it all, because again, I couldn't afford to get someone
to do it.
Do it. I do now. I've a marketing company over in Australia that do that side of it for me, and I've got one in the UK that do it for me now.
Nice.
But I understand it. So like when they're talking to me on Zoom meetings and stuff, and they're coming out with the bullshit, I'm like, that's nonsense. That what you're saying? Because the line's not going up, and that's because of X, Y, and Z. So you need to do something in terms of changing the keywords, or you need to turn it on and off again in order to spike it. There's loads of different. And they're like,
Whereas if you were completely naive to it, they'd obviously they'd take advantage of it.
If it had spoke to me 6 years ago, I'd have gone, all right, no worries. Here's another £1,000. Here's this. Here's that. But now I don't, because you've got to educate yourself. I think it's important no matter what you do. I think you've got to immerse yourself into it.
You've got to be into it, haven't you? Like, you can't, with something like that as well, you're either, you've got to be all in.
100%.
So, it's, I think it's important to understand every part of it. And I don't know, you're good at that. Like,
I'd say it's probably one of my weak points, to be fair.
Which aspect? Again, the marketing or the social media?
You look at
social media strong point, but like the ad side of stuff and the Google ads, Google pages, SEO.
I think you're selling yourself short. Like, you look at like the example, case in point, the website thing, which you were wank at to start with, and you've now got a good website, and you built websites for other people now.
Yeah, but again, it's one of them. You just sit down and you. No, but like the ads and stuff, that's a whole different ballgame.
That's just the next thing, innit?
Getting an ad that actually pays a profit. 'Cause like you say, you can chuck thousands at them, and
you can.
It's 1 in 100 that actually profits. Well, for me anyway. Like,
Same. We have multiple ads running all at the same time. We were on Google Shopping, but because of some of the things that we sell or whatever, we weren't allowed to go on Google Shopping anymore. So that got ripped apart. So we went from the highs of having that amount of money coming in each month, and it just fell off a cliff.
Is that recently?
That was about a year ago. Yeah, Google changed all the policies, so you weren't allowed to sell certain products, and then you weren't allowed to word it in a certain way. So you've got to say it may increase testosterone. It may increase energy output. It may. You have to put it may, and that to change everything on the website instead of saying it will. It will. There were buzzwords you weren't allowed to use. You weren't allowed to fat shame anyone, and they were taking down everything on Instagram. All the stuff was getting taken off, and I was trying to just fight through everything. And then even to this day, Instagram they even emailed me and said that they won't show my content to new followers. So I won't even just pop up.
I had to.
They have to search for me, or I have to do loads of giveaways to get people to comment and tag people.
Just because of the products you sell?
Because of the products we sell, and also because I'm quite outspoken on social media, and some of the things I've said in the past, they've community guidelines, it goes against it. And I mean, you literally can't say anything anymore. You can't say idiot. No. You can't use a clown emoji. You just stuff like that. They go, that goes against our community guidelines. Take it off.
Can you cut that out, Charlie, please? Just in there. I'm not joking. He looks absolutely horrified then.
To be fair, I was wondering what.
What do you mean?
The thing I'm kind of interested in then is the things on Google. Did they specify which products were causing the problem? Pseudo pharmaceuticals they call it. So. Okay.
If you sell SARMs or testosterone or Tonka Ali and like natural herbal products, they say that it's medical and it's pseudo pharmaceuticals. So, if it's not recommended by chemists or doctors or whatever, you can't have it. But you can go easily online and get, loads of painkillers and get addicted to codeine and stuff, and you can buy them online nowadays.
So is the problem the research of those things then, like the data, there's not enough of it, or is it just because it's not someone somewhere has not said it's safe, or
possibly? I don't know whether there's. Most of the products have got loads and loads of scientific data. A lot of the SARMs and stuff like that, they were invented by doctors for other issues. So there's a product, the Osterin, which was invented for osteoporosis and for wasting diseases and stuff. But the bodybuilders jumped on it because it increases your muscle tissue.
The doses are quite different though.
The doses are totally different. I understand that. I get it. And that's why it is a research chemical. And I totally understand that. But if anyone goes on my social media, you'll say I don't push any of it.
Well, I guess that's one of the loopholes. Like I know, because you're on about with Australia, like there's some certain loopholes and stuff. They kind of have the research chemical label, don't they? And that's and I think this is because some of yours have said like not yours specifically.
I've had stuff taken off. I don't bother with that on my website now, just for the same reason.
Not suitable for human consumption.
We have to put that or research chemical or whatever. You have to put that.
I think they're just going down a hole in terms. They're just going to end up banning everything, in my opinion. Alpha GPC is the recent one that they're really clamping down on. Everyone's had to take Alpha GPC out. Yep. Next week it'll be something else. The week after it'll be something else. Eventually,
peptides. It'll be there's certain peptides, apparelin. There's so many things like that have to be labelled with research purposes only, as if you're buying it to put in your lab. It's not. Yeah. Everyone knows what you're buying that for. You buy the BAC water, the backwater with the peptide that you're buying, the powder, and then you mix it at home. And there's even instructions on their websites to tell you how to mix it at home. And this is going into your rat, is it? It's not. Everyone knows that this is not going in your rat, but you have to do these wanky little things in order to sell a product that's proven to work. And if you take it responsibly, you're not going to see these side effects or whatever. And some of the research against certain products like Cardarin, for example, that's another one. Everyone goes, it causes cancer or whatever. There's no literature, there's no scientific data that proves that. They gave an exponential amount to a rat, like 250 times above the actual dose you're supposed to take, and it apparently cancerous cells were visible.
That was it.
Not that it caused cancer. It had an increase of cancerous cells. That's it. And it was just.
They did the same thing with the aspartame though recently.
Oh, the aspartame thing. Yeah, it winds me up so much.
But the amount of people that just look at a headline
and don't read it.
I know loads of people, and in fact, I were in the hairdressers in Albury, in barbers, and there literally was a guy going, "Oh yeah, can't have Diet Coke anymore. You've not seen the article?" And I were like, do you know what I mean? I was straight in. I was just like, "That's a load of shit, mate. Don't worry about it. You know, drink as much as you
should have said, have you seen the actual article?
Oh, no, I did. Do you know what I mean?
Like,
I was like, the amount you would have to drink, like, to cause the caffeine would fuck you over. I think before the
scaremongering,
the actual thing.
We're talking minute amount of aspartame that's in there. There's asclusifame. There's loads of other ones that are knocking around that have been used for decades and no issues. Just because the WHO have said, oh, it's did they say it were potentially, or did they put it? Possible carcinogenic.
It was in the it was like category 2B, wasn't it? So it's the same as mobile phones, like causing cancer. It's the same category, which again, there's no proper evidence or data for.
But are they going to pull it all off the shelves? They're not, are they? Because these companies are too big to start fucking with. Yeah, you can't mess with Coke. They're bigger than these companies. They're bigger than the WHO. No, you just can't. It's insane.
It's backwards, isn't it?
It's mental. It's only the same as like there's that many bullshit articles out there about things. You just have to look properly into it. Just do proper research, like you said. They just read the headline. That's it. They read that, and at the bottom it'll give you the truth. Like only may, or it's possible,
or it gives you like how the actual study was conducted, and you look and you think, well, you know, the sample size of about 3 people or something.
Exactly.
It's like the dementia. The point you made last week on smoking increases or decreases the risk of dementia. Like if you frame it like that,
it's true. Yeah. But then you look at why it's true, and then all of a sudden, the one that is sort of, without going on too much of a tangent, the one that pissed me off. Have you seen Game Changers on Netflix?
Oh, I'm gonna watch it. Like I said to you earlier, I'm flying to Colombia on Wednesday. I've got so many things that I'm gonna watch on the way there because 15 hours on a plane.
I won't spoil it, obviously, but obviously it's so heavily biased, like in terms of the thing on it, and a lot of the science in it is just absolute bollocks. Like for lack of a more elegant word, but there's one where they're on about like they give. I don't want to say too much, but like basically.
No, go. It won't spoil it because I'll watch it and I'll be more interested because I know what's coming.
Three people like different meals, and one of them's because the whole idea of it is like plant-based things being superior and plant-based athletes being amazing for X, Y, and Z. And there's 2 things that pissed me off. One of them was this meals thing. And they gave people a meal, and one of them was like with meat, and then the other one was more plant-based. And then they took blood from them straight after, and then spun it up in like a centrifuge, and were like, "Oh, look at all the fat in the blood and stuff like that." And it's like, so, like that's not a problem. Like that's what happens when you have like something with a higher fat content. It's going to be there, then eventually your body sorts it out. But people look at it and go, "Ugh, I don't want that," and they assume that they're going to die every time they have any meat or whatever. So that it would. It really annoyed me.
But it doesn't fit the narrative, though, does it? It doesn't fit their narrative because they're trying to put something across out there.
I think it's James Cameron. I think it's the film director.
Avatar guy.
I think it's him, and I think him and his missus have got like a plant-based like business, and they want to push it and whatever. So obviously there's an agenda.
That's ironic, isn't it?
It's weird, isn't it? The guy making the film. Who'd have thought? But because the other one in there is there's a strong man in there.
Who claims he's the world's strongest man?
Yeah, he's called Patrick Baboumian, and nothing against him. He's fucking strong.
He's a beast.
But he's nowhere near, even close to the caliber of like your Brian Shaws and your Mitchell Hoopers and Tom Stoltman. He's miles off. Like his max for things isn't even the starting weight for like the world's finals and stuff. But he's pushing this thing about him being an elite strongman. You also look at his diet. And because obviously he's a purely plant-based strongman, which is rare, but you look on it, and it's about 9/10 protein shakes.
Yeah. That's he's in a liquid diet, basically.
So essentially.
I think Joe Rogan called him out for it, didn't he?
Yeah, but
does he disclaim his ped use? What he uses?
Well,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I suppose. I guess with that, like, because everyone's on it, aren't they, at that level, and you know, you just have to be. So, but no, obviously, I don't think he claims natural. To be fair, but yeah, that would be an interesting one. But yeah, it's just absolute. Yeah, watch it. See, I will.
It's definitely it's downloaded and ready to go.
Maybe have a drink on the side just so you don't like break the screen or something.
Right,
so I imagine,
I can't stand programs where the narrative's already chosen for you.
Yeah,
and it's more lecturing you on why these are bad rather than being objective. If you're showing both sides, allow the person watching, the consumer, to make their own ideas up, because that's why we've got the news, or we're just telling you all this crap that you're supposed to believe it straight away. Well, I don't. I'll look at the other side as well, and I'll make my own thought up about it. Like you say with aspartame, just read it. Oh, well, I can't have that anymore because it causes cancer. Well, that's not true, is it? Why don't you read it?
This is something, and I suppose this is because we mentioned this, actually, it'd be a cool topic to talk about. SARMs, obviously quite... trending, if you like, sort of recent times. I think one of the drawbacks, because compare SARMs to like steroids. There's nowhere near the same amount of data that we've got on steroids.
No, that's true.
And obviously, certainly from a length of time, people have been taking steroids for a very long time. SARMs is a more recent thing. Do you think there's a problem here? The fact that SARMs are so accessible, and such as us, we will go and read and go, right, let's have a look at this, what's it doing, let's have a look at this data and whatever. Yeah. How many 18 to 25-year-olds, which is where this is kind of pitched at, would actually do that, or just go, I've joined the gym, I've been there 2 weeks, I've seen no games, pass me the SARMs.
Pass me the SARMs.
That's it. No, it happens on a regular basis. So if you actually go onto my Instagram page, I always get open it up for questions and all that lot. And if people come on and say, I'm 19 and I want to do this, I'll answer them. Don't be taking anything. I've taken a note of your name. If I see your name pop up on the website, it will be refunded and I will not be sending you anything. But we can't. We don't have an 18 plus option on Shopify and stuff like that. We can't do it. But if someone does say that they're 19 or whatever, I will say, do it naturally until you can make big boy decisions when you're a man. When you're 30 onwards, then do it. But also, get your bloods checked first. Go get your bloods checked before and after any cycle you're doing. I don't care whether it's SARMs, I don't care whether it's herbal like Tonka Ali or Fidogia or something like that, anything. Get your bloods done. But they don't mind going to spend 200 quid on a night out, but they won't go spend 100 quid on a blood test to get everything checked. Your hemoglobin, your blood levels, your cholesterol levels, and they're just... For some reason, they think there's a magic pill out there, and there isn't. And
or even like down to the cycle itself, they'll spend a few hundred quid on a cycle,
absolutely,
but won't spend that extra bit for any of the ancillaries or for the the actual blood tests and making sure that you just need to check it, don't you? You need to see how much all your levels were. You need your baseline, and you need to see what they are on cycle, what they are when you come off cycle, so you can properly plan your PC. Well,
and then whether you should be running a test base alongside it, whether you should be PCTing correctly, and what PCT to use, and clomiphene, clomid, whatever it is you want to use. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it, but do it safely. I never push anything. No. If you want to get it, get it. Right, but I'm also going to advise you to get your bloods done. I'm also going to advise you to PCT, and I'm also going to say if you're that age and you've only just started, go earn your stripes in the gym. Go earn your stripes. Don't look at the guy who's huge, who's been training for 20 years, and think I want to get like him in 6 months. It's just not happening.
I think the problem is because I think did you put something about with Sam Sulek on the other day?
I've seen this guy recently. I don't go online a lot, mate. So just I ain't got time.
I've not watched it. The
Sam Sulek, that 21-year-old who's huge, isn't he?
About him being a bad influence, or
it was something like that. Because you basically said something on the lines of like taking PEDs and him having a bit of a profile, and taking it at such a young age. Is it? It's his life. He can do whatever the fuck he wants, or should he have some level of responsibility given? He's an influencer to some degree, so we'll be... And it's an interesting topic, isn't it?
It's a weird one, because I looked at all the votes on that. There must have been about 60 or 70 votes.
Were it quite split?
No, it was heavily saying he should watch what he does because he's influential. And then all the guys who were tagging the other option were all really young lads, like 15, 16.
Saying do whatever
so it's kind of, that...
That's
We're arguing itself there. So.
Well, I personally think it's a scary little world that we're living in now, where the young lads are coming up. Because when we're not old, but I mean, like, I'm 33. But when I was younger, I didn't have Facebook knocking around at 15, 16, 17. It wasn't even a thing. So I want that self-aware. I wasn't looking at ripped up guys in pictures and stuff and thinking I can look like that, when they don't know that it's all airbrushed, it's all bollocks, the lighting, they've probably take 20 different versions of that picture and they're jacked up to the nines. And these young lads now are seeing it and going, right, it's like the starter kit for the gym is Gymshark, straight away. Then what protein do I get? Right, and what cycle do I do?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's their three things that they're looking at straight away before they even understand any compound lifts, how to slow increments, or anything in terms of.
The last thing you add in it is
you want to ideally you'd want to max out your natural potential.
Of course, and then if you plateau, then fair enough.
Maybe
but
so,
if you're 19, 20, and you've just got yourself some tren. Do you know which they do now? You get.
I spoke to a guy the other day who were on 900 milligrams of tren a week, and 900 milligrams of test a week. He was built like that, about 6'4".
How old are he?
Probably our age, or my age, so about mid-20s.
End of life then with that cycle.
And I said to him, "Come off that right now.
Just get his coffin ready soon, because that's what it's early grave.
Just started training.
I think as well, it's almost become a meme as trend. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But people don't realise just how bad it is.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, muscle building wise, it's great.
You'll
be big, you'll be strong, fucking fantastic. But that is one side of the story.
Yeah.
And even down, obviously, you've got all the, what it does to like your lipid levels and all that kind of stuff as well. And the fact that it just makes your heart so much bigger and all these things. But then also the fact that it literally alters your brain chemistry.
Brain damage.
So so when you come off and you're in a world of pain, you can't lift anywhere near you could, you're depressed, your mood's in the gutter, it's dangerous. And it in ways that people don't always realise, I think.
And it's all just for that little perfect picture in Ibiza or something, and they'll jump on it for 3 months or something just to look good in a picture at Ibiza. And it's like, now you're drinking, now you're adding alcohol into it. Your liver is shagged now. It's shagged, and you're probably doing D-ball alongside it, another highly toxic something that you
have the kickstart on you.
You've got it's ridiculous, and then the amount of caffeine that they're consuming in these pre-workouts and stuff. So it's like your heart is just take it. I believe you've got so many heartbeats in your life, mate, and they're using up a lot of them in the 20s to 30s, thinking, oh, I'm unbeatable, blah blah blah. And I think you put on your Instagram about people being honest about using gear.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
And I don't know did you get any backlash for, like, did people say, I think they should be honest about taking when they're on gear and promoting a healthy lifestyle whilst taking gear?
I found that a lot of PTs who were clearly on gear voted for the think it's healthier. I've forgotten what I actually framed the question like. It
was to do with them promoting a healthy lifestyle, but also taking gear.
Yeah, so all them guys
and
voted,
not being honest about it.
Yeah, so all like the PTs who were on gear voted for one side, and then there were a lot of other people that voted for the agree, which were obviously the tweet that I'd captured. So again, though, it's a weird one, because if you, like you say, if you do everything right, if you get your bloods checked, if you know what you're doing, if you're eating well, if you're not taking silly amounts of caffeine, sleeping well, is that a healthier lifestyle than the average person who's overweight, eats shit, don't sleep well?
It'd be an interesting. It's certainly
it
interesting.
Probably is I'd say that it probably is a healthier lifestyle.
Well, I think if nothing else, you've got eyes on the situation. So you're having your bloods done. Mm-hmm. You're having, you might have like an ECG or whatever to make sure everything,'s is that the right one?
Yeah, ECG, straight up. It takes seconds for an ECG as well. Seconds. They put the pads on, and you're right in and out in the minute, like a minute. They just literally check it within the first minute, and you're like, yep, that's a normal heartbeat. Yeah.
So they can check all of these values, whereas your average person genetically could have issues anyway, and particularly if they're overweight and lazy bastards and not doing anything, then they're going to have problems. They just don't know about it. If you know actively, right, I'm putting an additional strain on my body because I'm taking X, Y, and Z, and you've got those bloods, and then the next time you go in, like 3 months later, you have your bloods again, and you go, right, okay, that's slightly elevated.
Off,
I need to alter something. I think that's got to be healthier.
Yeah.
Surely.
No, of course it is.
You've got eyes on it.
It's people doing it stupidly that it upsets me. I see people and I'm like, you have no idea what you're about to do. And I look at my old self. So I've taken gear before, and when I was at uni, I was a doorman, and I was only a small lad, but I just started on door. I can fight, but I want a big shirt filler, and I couldn't grab these big lads by the neck and launch them out like these lads that I'm working with. So then the peer pressure comes into play. I'm a young lad, 23, 24. I'm working with 30-odd-year-olds who are all talking about steroids and stuff like that, and I'm like, I have no idea about steroids at this point. And then I'm like, I want to be like these men, because I feel like, these are men, and I'll look bigger. So I went on my first cycle at 23, I think I was. I did Suss and Decker.
Oh, right,
classic.
wow.
The old classic Suss and Decker. A mill of each a week.
Yeah.
Just because I'd been told this. Didn't research it. I'd been told to do a mill a week of both. Both in the same syringe, jabbing it in my ass. Right? And then, lo and behold, 4-6 weeks later, I'm massive, getting bigger and bigger. You're getting more attention from girls, but you get a lot of attention from guys, which is really odd, isn't it? Like, what'd you lift, mate? What'd you bench? You get more attention. You think that you're going to get attention from women. It's more men. They're grabbing your arms and stuff like that, aren't they? And,
women aren't bothered, are they? Really?
No, and I didn't know about PCT because these guys just jabbed and cruised, and they never came off it. Yeah. And these guys were just out of breath when they're like tackling one at lads, and then I'm starting to see it. I'm like, why did I want to be like these guys? Yeah, and then I started getting the acne. It was the acne that did me, and that was it. Boom, not touching that again. And I never touched it since. But I just love eating. I had a massive appetite. But I've done ibuprofen, the MK677, which is a secretagogue. It's not a SAM, but that works on your ghrelin levels and makes you hungry. And you eat like a horse on that stuff.
We're both a big fan.
Have you both taken it? Have you?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I'm a big fan of it. Really big fan.
I am. It's my favourite. And I hate that it's not a SAM. You shouldn't be in that category, but it is.
It just gets lumped in, doesn't it?
I think same as Cardarin as well. It's the same.
Yeah. But I think because it's MK677, and because if a lot of them are like GSW or LGD or whatever, you see it's GSK. Sorry. But like you just you chuck it in the same category, don't you? But I think because we both got from that lab in America, didn't we?
Science Bio,
which obviously got
they stopped doing it, aren't they?
But Chemio are very good. Liquid, they do liquid form of stuff.
This will
Chemio are very,
but
very
again,
good.
we'd done the research. We knew that was a good company to buy from, and got it and whatever, and it worked, didn't it? Like in terms of appetite, I didn't do the full dose.
How many milligrams were you taking?
I think it were it just
12.5 for it or 10?
I think no. I think the full thing were 25, wasn't it? I think it
was
25 for
ours
a mil.
20, and people think that's a high.
I was taking 25 actually.
25 for a mil, but I were only doing half because when I did 25, I'd just come off a diet as well. The appetite was ridiculous.
Insane,
it was like you can't even. I'm not a big eater. I've always struggled to put weight on.
It's like you've just got munchies all day.
It was just like you could just eat anything.
It is insane, isn't it? Honestly.
You went to Blue Sakura and you went, you text me saying, I've just taken a full dose, I'm off to Blue Sakura, I want my money's worth. Which is like an all-you-can-eat thing. So I took that and went,
they're like kicking you out, didn't I? It says all you can eat. Well, it's not a challenge. Get out.
You want to make your money's worth for them
It's
places,
insane, that stuff, honestly. Like when I first started to research these myself before I went into the industry, I took, I think it was Austrian I did, but when I did the ibuprofen, I was like, what is this stuff? I can eat. I love eating anyway. I have about 4,000 to 5,000 calories every day, no matter what. Because I just love eating. And that I was on 8,000 to 10,000 just honestly. But I was eating clean. But I was just grabbing everything. So instead of having like a couple of chicken breasts, I was having 4. And then it was insane, honestly. I was going to Nando's and having the platter to myself. Honestly, it says it's for 4 people.
Yeah.
And you get 4 sides, the full chicken and all that. I was smashing that all the time. It was insane how much food I was banging in my system. But I found I got really bad indigestion on it. And
really?
Yeah. I think that's to do with myself just eating like
it
a
probably
hippo.
is the sheer volume of food
And the amount or how
Speed.
fast I were eating as well. So I had really bad indigestion and hiccups. So I stopped taking that, but I'll pop on that every now and again.
You've got to watch your blood sugar on it as well, haven't you? Because I noticed I won't like you eating clean foods. I was gorging on absolute shite, like sugary, fatty food, and I could my blood sugar must have been elevated because I was pissing every fucking 10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So obviously you've got to watch that as well. If anyone is thinking about taking it,
I think.
I agree with that. Because of the ghrelin and stuff. That's what's obviously makes you hungry when you're tired. And I slept like a baby on MK677. You sleep really, really well on it.
The dreams are really strange, though. I don't know.
I didn't have any bad dreams.
I had quite vivid, strange dreams like on it. I found, but I probably a sign of being well rested as well.
Kind of get used to it, though.
You can't like it though.
I'm like excited to go.
I've had mad dreams. I have mad dreams anyway. Like,
oh dear, maybe that's why you didn't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Sleeping well then.
Yeah, that's food and sleep are the most important things in my life. I swear, that's in that order. Yeah. I love sleep. I will always get me 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah.
Always.
That's good, is that?
Always. When I first starting the business, I didn't.
Yeah.
Which was making my productivity go down. So I realised that I need to do little naps throughout the day.
Yeah.
But I always now make sure I get me 8 to 10 hours, and I'm not me if I don't. Like Snickers advert, you're not you when you're hungry. I'm not me if I'm not sleeping right or eating right. Yeah. I struggle with diets. I do struggle with diets. I'm never going to proclaim to be a bodybuilder or ever be a bodybuilder. I'm just a guy that trains hard so I can eat burgers, and that's what I'd say to people.
Yeah.
And I've got the body type that basically says he works out, but he doesn't say no to a donut kind of vibe. That's the kind of body type I've got, and I don't mind that.
The
and I'll never
build though. That's
I respect people who bodybuild so much. Like the lad Dambo that you had on, the way he works and what he does to himself in terms of he's so good.
It's just meticulous.
He is so good, and he's on it, and I don't have that. No. I don't have it, and I did. Weirdly enough, I tried to see if Dambo took me on as a client, and I couldn't stick to it.
Oh,
I couldn't
imagine
do it.
If you were one of the ones he booted off, that'd be
no,
awesome.
he didn't boot me off. I just didn't. No. He'd have been honest with me, and I'd have been honest with him. I just didn't renew, and I went nah.
The thing is, if you haven't got something there to train for or to look good for, like you say, because a beef or holidays don't motivate me anymore to get in shape. I'm not bothered now. So if you've got a bodybuilding show coming up in a year's time, then you're like, oh well, let's do this bulk well, and then let's do this cook properly. So I get why these guys obviously are so on it, because they're aiming for something. But
do you have that mindset to be able to do it? Because I know in myself, I can't, like the restrictive diet and the draining and feeling crap, not sleeping right, messing up my whole hormones. Even if you feel, especially at the higher level where your ped use is a bit different, where you feel like, well, I have to take something because everyone else is on something. So I'm not going to look as good as these big monsters. I'm always going to get told you need to bulk up, you need to get bigger, your chest is too small, your legs are too small. All
then
these
you end
things
up insecure.
Absolutely. And these guys who are
what a life.
Like these bodybuilders, I do respect them because of what they do. But what most people don't know is when they're on stage and taking them photos, they are feeling so shit.
They're this close to
death. They are that close from dropping. And they're under the bright lights. They've covered in the tan and they're flexing and they're out of breath and they're dehydrated. They've pushed their body to the absolute max just to pose. And for me, I'd never be able to do it. I mean, if you told me that, I don't know, I've got a boxing match coming up or something, I'll be on it. I'll be like, well, I'm going to get my head kicked in here if I don't sort it out. You know, if I don't sort my diet out. But I wouldn't put myself down to like a, I don't know, 85, 90 kilo fight because I wouldn't be able to get down to it. No. I'd just drain myself at the weight and it's dangerous. So I'll stick to eating.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's, certainly in terms of what we think of now, anyone's pitched true bodybuilding as being healthy. I don't think you can't just, because you're redlining your body all the time, aren't you? Just to kind of get on stage and do all those things.
But the people in the industry know that. But it's the people who don't know it and they're seeing these pictures of ripped up guys and they don't know how hard it is to get to that point and they don't know what they're feeling on that stage. obviously they must feel elation when they win and all that lot, but that's why they all gorge as soon as they're finished, aren't they? They're all on donuts and burgers. I mean, every bodybuilder goes to Five Guys as soon as they're finished.
You can see it. There's videos like where people have like spoken about like they'll eat and they can physically see the body filling out over like an hour, 2 hours because they're so
you'd have a load of carbs and
shitload of sugar, and then all of a sudden the water retention's increased with the glycogen store and everything. So it's madness, isn't it? But I think that's part of the problem with the younger lads, and I'm being a bit sort of generalistic there because it's not all young lads, but some of them will do this, and they'll see the guys like your Ryan Terry or whatever that have got an amazing physique, and he trains like a machine, eats like a machine. Obviously takes some gear as well.
Yeah.
But then they will train in the gym. There's that level of impatience, and they don't get anywhere near Ryan Terry in a year because how on earth, he's also got top tier genetics.
Yeah, that's another thing that comes into his genetics.
Yeah, exactly. They're not anywhere near, and they go, well, the only thing I'm missing then is the gear. And they genuinely think that. I think so. Then we'll start looking and. Asks, I suppose less so, but it were always like bodybuilding.com on it, like trying to find out, and it was...
There's a lot of info now, which is a good thing.
Yeah, it is better, but it were always like, 500 milligrams of test at least. That's the beginner cycle. You have to have that, otherwise don't bother, and everything. And that's where the problems arise, isn't it? And I think...
It's addictive as well. It's so addictive because, like I say, when I started and I saw all these results immediately, and your body's reacting to it, the DOMs are not as intense. You can train all the time, and you're getting, like I say, attention from people that you wouldn't normally get attention from. People who are noticing you a little bit more. That then becomes addictive, and then like when you come off, if you're not PCT, if you're just cruising, or you start feeling shit in gym, and it's a mental battle as well. I think when you're lifting weights, it's mental half of the time. Can I get them 50s up? Yeah, I can get them 50s up. But when you're depleted, your testosterone's low, you can't get an erection. Some people probably have issues with erection and all that.
As well,
especially, I had issues with it. I had issues with that. And I'm 20 odd years old. I should be harder than trigonometry all the time. It was just depleting. So I knew I needed to come off this crap. But when you're surrounded by these big lads, you can feel a little bit insecure, and you get pushed towards it.
Yeah.
And it's when you've got to have the balls to stand up and just go, I'm not doing what you do. I don't want to do what you do. You look great, fantastic, but I don't want to mess up my insides because of what you're banging in it. So for me, like, I'm out. I don't want to do it no more.
You're in that position as well, I think, because you've got, you'll have acquired so much knowledge, and particularly from what you've said, like you read a lot of the data and the studies, that you know exactly what's going on. And I think that ignorance is a bit of a problem, isn't it? Because they go, oh, well, I'll take this and I'll get a six-pack and I'll be ripped and all the girls will follow me around. That's basically the viewpoint, isn't it? Whereas, and don't even consider what's going on a biochemical level inside. And I think whereas, like, you that comes with it for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all... You think about the whole package, not just...
Yeah, I mean, I think that comes with age and maturity as well. I mean, when you're young, you think you'll live forever, and you know what I mean? You do, though. You like when you're in your 20s, I mean, you're unbelievable. That's why I can't listen to all these influencers that are in their early 20s, like 21 or whatever, and lecturing people in the 40s that you can do this and you can do that. It's like, come back when you're 30 odd, mate, and let's have a chat and see what you look like.
Learn some lessons.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not on board with that. And that lad that you mentioned, Sam Sulek or something, I only just found out about him about 3-4 days ago. And I mean, that's just ridiculous. What he's putting in his body,
his diet's horrendous, isn't it?
He's not going to see 30.
No.
It's unlikely, isn't it? I mean, the thing is that you get genetic outliers, and some people can literally do what the fuck they want and live.
True,
but it's rare, though, isn't it? And odds are.
I don't know of him that well. Like I said, I've watched one video of his, and he's just huge. But all the acne that he's got on his back and all that. Does he openly discuss what he's taking or not? Does he not do it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Does he not?
I haven't watched one of his videos.
No. He does old school kind of videos where they're like
long format,
really long, like 40 minutes of him talking into camera, a bit like Rich Piana used to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, look what happened to him.
Piana.
I loved Rich. I loved Rich Piana. I used to watch his videos all the time. He was like one of the godfathers of YouTube, wasn't he?
He was very entertaining, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he was a smart businessman as well, I think.
And honest.
Yeah, but that's
very
I
honest
think that's,
about what he took and synthol and all these crazy stuff he tried.
Oh yeah, well,
if you wanted to know about a compound, ask him, and he'd tell you, I did that for a year. I took HGH for a year.
The other one as well, which is I suppose a little bit darker, but on that thing with Boston Lloyd. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah, he was massive, wasn't
he? He did like
were he 21 when he died?
He died. He wasn't very old at all, and died from he had like I think it was kidney disease in the end, but from just severe gear abuse, which he did when he was younger, and he was massive. The transformation video, I'll show you after this, is just obscene. He makes 10 years worth of gains in like half a year. It's ridiculous. But obviously he did that by pushing the envelope, with the gear abuse, and he did ultimately catch up with him. But in sort of later on, he ran experiments and took certain amounts of, because I think there were one where he was taking like a ridiculous grams of test a week, and like north of 4. To see what it did, and then pushing it just to see what it did, and then but he was very open about it. I know obviously it's sad that he died so young, but he was very open about it. Do you think there's any what's your opinion about being open and not? Do you think you should be transparent? Do you think not? Do you think? I think
if you're selling a product or a coaching aspect, or you're lecturing people in their own front room, I think tell them and be open and transparent. Tell your audience, like that Bell End Liver King, who everyone in the industry knew he was on gear. The level of gear he was on was crazy. When them emails got leaked, that was an insane amount. Enough to knock a cow out what he was taking on a daily basis.
It was on growth, wasn't he? A stupid amount, but he was on Albuterol.
He were on MK677 and all. Who's he getting that off? He wants sponsoring. Do you know what I mean? No, but the amount of people, I was like, you are crazy if you think this guy's natural. And he's every podcast he went on, I'm natural. I just eat liver. I was like, yeah, of course you do.
To the uneducated eye, though, some of them are just so gullible. Like, it's like The Rock, innit? People look up to The Rock. Is this? He don't do anything wrong ever, and he don't.
Does he claim that?
I think he does.
Or does he just never talk about it?
He don't talk about it.
Does he just?
It's the elephant in the room. He just doesn't say it.
I swear he said.
Get on board a little bit more with that.
I swear he said that years ago that he's never touched gear. I swear he has.
Oh, did he?
At one point, I think he has. Yeah, you'd have to check it, but
I mean, genetically, he's a freak. I've seen pictures of his dad, and he looked like a 40-year-old Rock when he was 15. That famous picture when he's in jeans, and he's black polo, and he was like 15 in that photo, and he's got a full-on beard, like a full-on tash, and he's massive. So there is people out there who are genetic freaks, and people who've got an amazing physique. But when you see people like Liver King, who are pushing a product, they are pushing liver supplements, they're pushing his ancestral brand. And he's telling everyone, this is because I eat raw liver and bull's testicles, and if you take this, you can look like me. And lying and telling people, I'm natural, I'm this, I'm that. You've got to be transparent. If you're an influencer and you're just making your money through being a model or whatever, and you're not lecturing people on anything to do with supplements or healthy eating or all like that, then do what you want. Don't tell people. But if people ask you, you don't even have to answer.
Yeah, if you don't say it.
But if you're pushing a product and you're lecturing people on fitness and on, you can be like me if ...
Yeah.
Be honest and be open and transparent and say, yes, I do. I am on TRT. It's prescribed by my doctor. I get regular blood work done. You can do that. Go and speak to your doctor. See if your levels are right. Be honest. Yeah. But social media is full of shit.
Yeah, it's...
Majority is full of shit.
It is, isn't it? And I think... Do you think then it's... Because you said, obviously, don't answer them. Do you still... Because I still get annoyed when whoever they are say, no, I'm not on anything, when they are. Even if they're not selling anything, it pisses me off. Yeah. Maybe that's just a me problem. I don't know. Well,
that's a different area because you're answering the question that now you're lying.
Yeah.
Now you're openly lying. I'm on about if people slide into your DMs or whatever, or it's on an open forum and they ask, you could just ignore that.
Yeah, I think
if you are addressing the situation and doing a proper video and someone's asking you in a podcast, saying, "Are you on gear?" And they go, "No."
Which Liver King did.
Liver King did on numerous
times,
occasions, and he's just recently come back out saying he's back on it again.
Yeah.
And what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago?
It looks
well, I've
horrendous,
decided to get back on it because I didn't feel me off it. Well, of course not.
Of
course you didn't. You moron.
Exactly.
But these people will still buy into the fact that he claimed to be natural for about 6 months, didn't he? You can't be natural now. You're not natural now. You can't
lost
be.
that card.
You've abused.
You've
abused these compounds half of your life, and now you're saying you've come off them for 3 months, and now you're natural.
It's who was the other? Cali Muscle.
Oh god.
Oh yeah.
He was the other one.
Well, he ended up in hospital, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, and then he came out eventually.
It's like, this is why I'm here,
and said, "Yeah, I'm on." So, like there was any doubt at all.
But people believe it. People do believe it.
People are gullible. People are gullible
liners.
bastards, and they get the fanboy sort of vibe as well, especially online. You get fanboys, and they're in the comments straight away, like, "Don't talk to. He's not on gear." They're defending him. You don't even know who he is.
Yeah.
And they're all there defending him.
And they're just profiting off him.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I spoke to a few people in shop who were eating a lot of raw meat, and eating liver, stuff like that.
Did you see a rise in it as well? Did you?
Big time.
Probably,
Yeah.
I mean, I saw one just when you're scrolling past, and there was one guy it was like, "Oh yeah, what I eat in a day on my raw meat diet," and I nearly threw up. It was literally
awful,
but we're getting like cow's heart,
and
just eating
and just
it,
munching it,
but putting butter on it, and eating it, and I'm just like, what?
They know
is
that
this?
that's gonna get clicks.
Look, there is a lot of scientific data, and it's proven that the innards of animals is unbelievably healthy, right? It's true.
Yeah.
It's true, but it's disgusting.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's like
you're there chewing on a testicle, and
it's like a bush tucker trial.
Have you seen that Eddie Abdu recently? He's popping up everywhere. Cause
I like him, by the way.
I like him, but he demonises every food, and it's like, well,
what can I eat now?
yeah, genuinely. And some of the meals he puts on, I think, fair play, you're eating that, but fuck me, that looks disgusting.
I always like with this. Do you know Alan Aragon, the nutritionist in America? He's quite big.
Oh, yeah.
His way of justifying things is, what would you eat instead? And I think that's kind of a good benchmark for healthy eating. Mm-hmm. And also, there's two other things. One of them says it depends on context. So, is celery healthier than ice cream? Most people would say yes. Mm-hmm. If you're stranded on a desert island and can only eat one of them, you'd live a hell of a lot longer just eating ice cream than you would eating celery.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And then the other one, you remind me when you said, "Oh, it's all clean" earlier. He got asked in an interview, something like, whenever anyone asks him about clean eating, he always says hydrogenated fats are really clean. And everyone looks at him really strange. And he said, because initially it was designed for soap.
Yeah.
So it's literally clean.
What does clean mean?
But it's because it's almost like a loaded question. It's a silly question. You can't say this is clean, this is not. But yeah,
it's because of the dawn of social media. You've got everyone who's got their own narrative, and you've got everyone who's pushing X, Y, and Z. So then people are consuming all of this information, and it's information overload. They're like, well, he says I can't eat that, but the news says I can't eat that. Well, this guy said I can't eat that. Well, he said meat's bad. This guy said eggs are bad. This guy says cholesterol. If you eat stuff that's high in cholesterol, you'll get high cholesterol. You're like, it's not true. Yeah. That's not true either. There's just so much bullshit out there that are confusing the general's like public who don't research, who just take it at face value, and then they're ending up in this whirlwind of, I can't eat that, but I feel guilty if I eat that. And then they're getting depressed because they've had a Mackey's. It's like, well, if you can incorporate that stuff into your life because it's there. It's shoved in our face. You go to a supermarket, the stuff, the healthy stuff is nowhere really to be seen, right? All your veg and that's at first, I understand that. But the rest of it, it's all sugar. You've got like tasty cartoon characters to sell stuff to kids that is just full of sugar, full of processed food. I don't trust food if it's got a year expiry date on that. What's it doing to my body, that?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Do you know what I mean? If I pick something up that's Cocoa Pots, expires 2025, what the fuck is in this to keep that going that long? Do you know what I mean? If you get fresh meat, how long have you got before it goes off?
A few days.
A few days because it's fresh. You get the stuff that's jabbed full of saline solution, the frozen chicken, it's got potassium sulfate and all these stabilizers, chlorine or whatever you want to bang in it. You know what I mean? And it's insane. Sulfur dioxide is another
yeah.
one, and what they use. I mean, the Americans are absolutely batshit.
Pesticides.
Oh God.
The pesticides that they use in their farming is 10 times worse than anything we do. Like their McDonald's chips has got 19 ingredients.
Well, they use a lot
Hours
of
of
cornstarch
four.
as
How?
well, don't they? Yeah,
How has a chip got 19 ingredients?
It's
And
a
these
mystery,
and
innit?
people are consuming this on a daily basis, and they wonder why they're getting chronic illnesses.
Well, yeah, but if you look at the build of the average American, you know, it's my uncle went, and he's like, you know, your classic Brit, like slightly overweight, big belly, goes over there, and he went over for his he went for his 50th, went to Vegas, loved it. He came back, and one of his highlights where he went into a shop and he were a medium. And over here he's like an XL or whatever. He said the woman in the shop went, "Oh, you must be a medium." He made his holiday.
Yeah.
The fact that
But then that makes you want to eat more, then, doesn't it? Oh, that's all right. I can have a Wendy's or I can have whatever over in America. Like
there's some right units.
There's that heart attack grill over in Vegas, and that there's things like that promote this.
The octuple bypass burger, wasn't it? Do you know Beer Meats Foods?
Yeah.
He went and did it, and it's like I think it's 20,000 calories in a burger.
Horrendous.
20,000 calories.
It's glamorized.
So if you weigh over, if you weigh over
350 pounds, I think it was.
Yeah, it's gone, and there's a big scale.
Big thing outside that you eat free if you're over 350, and that just like says, all right, well, I'm going to get as big as possible, and I can eat for free.
There will be people chasing that number, won't there? Like, I want to eat there free one day.
Well, I think I'm sure Beer Meats Food went on there because he's like
he did, yeah.
He's quite slight, isn't he? In terms
I like
of
him.
his build. Me too.
He's
a
really
cast
good.
lad, isn't he, as well?
Yeah.
But I think he were like probably 12 stone when he went ish. You know, and obviously
he's only
went
slight, isn't he,
like,
to be fair,
what's it, like 160 odd pounds? I'm sure he were in that ballpark. And then so he went obviously nowhere near. Even if you put two of him on there, he still wouldn't be the 350. And then in the thing, there's one guy in the back that's like 350 walking in, and you just think, how?
It's obscene, isn't it? That's wild,
But
isn't it?
these Rustler burgers are sat on shelves for 2 years.
Yeah.
They've got a 2-year shelf life. Or
I know a lad
something
who
like that.
lives on them.
Factually might not be correct with that. It might be a year.
Yeah.
But if that's chicken and that's staying there for a year in a fridge, go get some chicken breast and see how long that lasts in your fridge, and just keep it in there for a year and see what happens. It's ridiculous. When people eat these, it's protein. Protein.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not protein. You are not absorbing any of that, mate. None of it.
Coming straight out.
It's coming straight out the other end, and it's destroying your organs on the way past.
It's protein.
It's mental.
It's bad, isn't it? At the minute, it is bad.
It is bad, but I mean, because of these big companies, they're just in your face. Your McDonald's, your Burger Kings, they're everywhere. I mean, they're texting you. They're actually reaching you in your own front room because they're getting you at the time of need. It might be, let's say, 8:30 at night, you're watching your football, your grilling system's just starting to kick in, you're starting to feel a bit tired and you're getting a bit snacky. What do they do at half time? Domino's will be here at half time if you order now. You're like, I'll have a Domino's.
2 for 1.
Do you know what I mean? 2 for Tuesday.
It's always 2 for 1.
It's the other one that the swine for it's Uber Eats. Like when it gets close to lunchtime or tea time, it's like fancy whatever the Chinese
give you a
or something
code
like that, and then like these restaurants are 20% off.
Well, on the way here, I got an Uber to this podcast, and it said, "Why not order something to eat when you arrive?"
Really?
Yeah. When you arrive, I'm like, wait up, lads, I've got a Macca's on there, so I'm going to have to munch this.
It's scary. It is in your face, isn't it? So there is, to some extent, it is people's faults, but it's not the faults as well. It is pushed on people.
Because it is an easier option, and I do get it. I've fallen for it. We all have. If you're tired, you've had a long week or whatever, you can't be bothered to cook, and you get a text message, and it will say pizza are doing 2 for 1, or you'll get Just Eat saying here's cheeky 20% off. You go, fuck it, I'll do that then.
Press 5 buttons and you've got it at your door, and that's it.
And then you're there, and it's like, because a lot of kids are now just staying inside as well. They're all streaming, or they're all playing on Xboxes and stuff like that, and they're ordering food up while they're eating whilst they're playing games and eating while they're playing games.
Smashing the rock stars in at the same time.
Yeah.
Do you think there's an incentive behind that from, like you mentioned, Coca-Cola being as big as they are, obviously pharmaceutical companies being massive and profiting off people being unhealthy?
Yeah, we need to be careful what we say. We might get Andrew Tated here.
Well, it's just...
End up in a Romanian jail if we carry on.
Well, it annoys me that things like Alpha GPC, is getting clamped down on, it's getting banned. Yeah, you could go to the supermarket and buy a fucking Russell's burger and have one of them. You could have one of them 5 times a day for the rest of your short life. Alcohol.
That's the main one, isn't it? I think
that's the worst. I mean, alcohol, what that does to your body, and how it gets over your brain barrier, and how it just works on all the systems in your body, and it creates all these toxins. But that's legal.
It's legal, and you've got stuff like MDMA,
and it's pushed on you as well.
Even smoking as well. Like
cannabis,
it's still legal. Yeah. Well, if you look at the two, health wise, would it be, is weed more or less dangerous than, the fags you can buy over the counter?
Weed isn't. Weed is not. That's why CBD oil is so popular now, because of all its health benefits.
But again, it's so demonised, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, in this country, it won't be legalised for a long time, because Theresa May's husband's the lead exporter of weed in this country.
Really?
True. He owns the company who exports cannabis, medical cannabis, and all that lot is owned by Theresa May's husband. She used to be the Prime Minister. Really strange how that passed. That law will never pass. And I've got all these other countries who've legalised it, because I'm literally in talks with a friend of mine who lives in Thailand. I've got an Airbnb out there in Chiang Mai, and he owns 51% of it on paper. Thai government don't watch this.
We'll be doing well. We'll be doing well.
Yeah, you'll get there, yeah. And the thing with that is, we wanted to open a cannabis shop.
Yeah.
Because they've legalised it all. I wanted to do a cafe. But I'm having to jump through hoops to prove that I'm wanting to pay tax in that country. And now I've only had that Airbnb for 6 months. They're going, no, we think you're going to launder this money and all this kind of stuff. But that's big business over there now. Huge in Thailand. Yeah,
it's
all the coffee shops that are opening up, all the cannabis shops that are opening up. Well, huge.
Up in Pai, I went in December. It was just, they're just everywhere.
It's insane.
That's
isn't
why
it?
people go.
Yeah.
It's
become the new Amsterdam. A lot of people from Australia now go over there, all around. And Thailand is now you're next to the beach, so that you're next to the beach and you're smoking your joint. And I understand why people are flooding to go there now, because Amsterdam, it's not on the beach. It doesn't have, it's cold. It's not a touristy, like in terms of a beach holiday destination. Now people can go enjoy Thailand because it's relatively cheap. The weed's not. The weed is very expensive. It's like between 600 and 1,000 baht just for a gram.
I don't know what that is currently.
That would be you're looking between 20 and 30 quid for just a gram. And then with the black market in England, I don't know what that. I think it's like 3.5 grams for £20 or something. I don't know. I don't smoke weed, but it'll never be legalised in England, even though we all know the benefits of it and how good it is for anxiety, depression, fighting off so many different diseases. I'm a big advocate for CBD oil. I'm a big advocate. I'm not a big advocate of people smoking it constantly, recreationally, getting paranoid and having psychoanalysis on people who've smoked weed for quite a lot. You become a recluse. You're not social on it. Because then you're reliant on it. I think you can become addicted to weed because the feeling it gives you in terms to sleep. People go, it's not addictive, but it is.
Yeah.
If you smoke weed for years or even for months, you will have a crash when you come off it.
Yeah.
You'll have sweats, you'll have mad dreams, you won't be able to drop off to sleep.
Catches up to
your REM sleep just gets shot to pieces. It gets shot to pieces. And obviously that's one of the most important things for you, to get a nice, good, deep sleep.
Yeah.
But the data that comes with smoking weed constantly become reliant on it. It is an addiction. So I see why our government won't allow it, but why is alcohol all right?
The thing,
exactly. And we've got data, we've got all that that proves it, that this is killing people, this is addictive, and what it's doing to people and what it does to people's families and how it makes you act. I'd rather sit in a room full of people smoking weed than a full of alcoholics.
Yeah.
It's freedom of choice as well, isn't it? Going back to like the SAM thing, like people should be allowed to take. There should be the information there, and people should be allowed to take whatever they want. In reality,
Sure, body.
In my opinion, yeah.
The problem you've got in some ways, I agree with that to such a large extent. I really do. People are idiots.
Yeah,
and
you have to protect them from the self sometimes.
But it's sometimes not just. Let's say this person, all right, person A has a kid. He's allowed legally to do whatever the fuck he wants. So he gets pissed up, drives a car into a wall, kills himself. You've then got a kid without a dad. Because there was no law in place saying you can't do that. So you have to legislate for the morons, which unfortunately are
the
majority.
There's data now to show. Is it Portugal where everything?
Portugal's legal. It's not legal. It's decriminalised. There's a difference.
And the crime rate dropped.
Oh yeah,
because you've got all the drug gangs, stuff like that, the black market. That it's almost impossible to perfectly legislate. I think so everybody wins.
Yeah, of course.
But I think something like weed.
It's a natural plant that grows. It's not like
meth,
it's not like cocaine. the process that has to go through in order to get into your bag or whatever. Where the ammonia and bleach and all that sort of nonsense, and taking it from the plant and burning it and drying it and putting all these chemicals into it, and then people are banging it up the hooter in Witherspoons in England. And it's like, what are you doing? Why are you having that? And I mean, I've taken, when I went through my stage of it, we were all on it, and the guys I used to hang about with are still all doing it.
Yeah.
And it's addictive, and they're all addicted to something, and because they can't deal with reality, I think a lot of them. I just think that because it is hard, the world's hard, it spits you up and chews you out, it's difficult. They work these monotonous jobs. Some of people who they hate the job, they're constantly moaning. Back when I was a teacher, you pass people in the corridor, you'll get it yourself saying, "Oh, only 4 weeks till half term." It's like, we've just come back. You're counting down your life. If you become a teacher, you see these guys. When I first qualified and got my first teaching job, I'm looking at it around to my peers and thinking, I don't want to end up like you. Like, no offense, but miserable. You hate this job, and we've just come back in September, and I'm like the new guy with all these new ideas and that. It won't work. That won't work. I've been here 10 years. That won't work. And they're right. It won't work. You're right, because you're surrounded by all these people with negative attitudes, and it breeds like a cancer. Doesn't it? It really, really does.
The amount of times you get the stock answers of, that's just the way we've always done it, or it's trust policy, or any of that shit. When you suggest an idea, and it's part of what, one of many reasons why I were like, fuck this. Like, no, it's not, because you just get people at the top who are so teaching. It's like stepping back in time sometimes.
Well, the educational system in this country is ruined. I mean, it doesn't work. Let's face it. It teaches people to be workers. That's it. There's a right and wrong answer to everything, which we know in life that's not true. It teaches you not to make a mistake, which we know that's not true, because you learn from your mistakes. We all make them every day.
But look at like people that are really, it's set up wrong as well from a point of view. Not everyone is cut out to be academic.
No.
But that's fine.
Everyone's different style of learning. I'm kinesthetic. I learn by doing. Like, I've got to be active, and whilst I'm doing it, that's why a lot of people excel at sport. Doesn't mean to say you're bad at school just because you can't sit still in English or maths. The way you're teaching Johnny Bloggs, the way you're teaching me, and the way you're teaching you, it's all different. I'm not going to absorb the same information at the same rate as this guy, yet I'm going to get put into a hall in May to do some exams, and we all get judged on the same criteria, and then we're told whether we're fit to do a job. Oh, well, no, you got D's, so you're going to have to work in a warehouse.
Yeah.
But it's the whole, I think, well, I don't know if it is actually Einstein, but it's attributed to Einstein, the quote that's like about the goldfish that would live its, I don't know if you heard this, live its whole life believing it's an idiot if judged on its ability to climb a tree.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so right. Like, some people are, absolutely wank at maths, but amazing plumbers. Yeah. We need plumbers. We need mathematicians as well, but everyone's different, and it's stupid that everyone's judged by the same yardstick. Yeah. And there's kids that I used to teach who school just wasn't for them in terms of in the format that it was at. Yeah. And particularly where the school I worked at was very militant in terms of how it did things, and it was awful, really, for both teachers and students. I think the students did well, they performed well, the results were amazing. Student happiness was never something that they looked at or cared about. You shouldn't have kids at school having real panic attacks and being that anxious at that age. Forget it. That's something you enjoy in later life. And
you set into social class in life, and you set into sets at school. So then you start hanging about with them people, and then you don't like the people who are in the high set, and them people in the high set don't associate with people who are in the low set because you've been segregated already. You're on thick table. You're in the thick class.
Usually
you're already demonized.
Oh yeah,
and usually it sticks with you.
It does.
It sticks with you, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy as well. You become that person. You're like, well, I'm thick, so fuck it. I'm not even going to try.
I'm just going to throw stuff.
I'm not bothered. I'm thick. You said I'm thick. You've put me in set 3. My mates are all in. These are not my mates. I don't want to hang around with these. I've got him who's licking his own elbow. I don't belong in this class. But I'm put here because of a piece of paper that says I got 2 out of 30 because I didn't try or something like that, you know.
But I think this is the main problem. And I guess, did you just work in SEND schools? Or did you? Oh,
no, I did agent. I did. Before I went out to Vietnam, I needed a little bit more money, so I did some agency work at Ossett Academy.
Oh, right, okay. So it's
PE and the PE department, yeah.
Yes, it's a mainstream. I do think, like, with PE, you're a little bit removed just in terms of it's a lot more practical based, isn't it, in terms of what you do. There is some written stuff, but nowhere near
Sixth formers were written stuff. Sixth formers a lot of theory stuff, but they like you say, we're just basically like you're babysitting them, aren't you? And you've got an hour with a class of 32 to do tennis with them, and you've got 1 court, and you're like, all right, what am I going to do here then?
Exactly.
Let's just all get a racket and 1 ball and let's go for it. Do what you want. Because I can't teach you tennis, can I? How can I teach someone how to serve when I've got 32 people? I've got 64 eyes all looking at me going, go on, right, how are we going to do it then? Yeah, you can all have 1 go each. Oh, that's the bell. Let's go. Yeah. But you've got 10 minutes for them to all get changed. You've got them all coming to you with planners going, my mum says I can't do it because I've got something wrong with me. And he's clearly written it himself. Someone who's got 1 shoe on, and it's just like, right, well, you're eating into my lesson now. And that is just such a wrong way to teach, like 30-odd kids.
Oh, yeah.
Kick a ball around. That's not teaching sport. Sport's one of the most important things, I believe. I'm biased, but that's because I've been around boxing and football and the camaraderie and what it teaches you. It teaches you discipline and sacrifice and teamwork and striving to be good. And that's what life's about. It's
good for your body as well.
You're going to win and you're going to lose sometimes. And it teaches you how to deal with adversity as well and how to get better. Because if you're playing football and you've been hammered 6-0 by a team, it's like, how do I get better? You don't quit. You just go, how do I get better? How do I get better at this? And I think that life's like, all right, you get knocked down or whatever, or why didn't I get that job? Right, I'm going to see what I can do better to get a better job or start my own business. How do I do this? How do I do that? And a lot of people just quit before the start, and you get to see a lot of talent that's gone to waste. A lot of my mates who you think, you could have made it at football, but now you're, no disrespect to people who work in warehouses and stuff, but now you're working as a Coca-Cola warehouse assistant or something.
Potential, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's sad.
And now they're banning...
just nurturing it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, they're banning contact sport and all sorts, aren't they, in schools?
It's insane. It's insane.
Scary.
The way it's dreadful, and I think part of it is Ofsted's fault.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and how they judge things, but like where I used to work, there was so much wasted time. Like, there's things that matter are planning your lessons and teaching your kids. Outside of that, everything else isn't that important, you know, really. You know, you need to mark to some degree, but the way that they expect you to mark is just obscene.
It's ridiculous.
And it's pointless. Yeah. Like, you know, the obsession with homework, it's like, you've got to set this homework and then you've got to mark it, and so much of the science shows that homework doesn't add that much benefit. There's, you know, countries like Finland and stuff who are amazing. I was going to say that, yeah. There's Scandinavian countries that just they don't even do anywhere near what we do in terms of educational system and how it works. But how are they still able to compete? Do you know what I mean? There's something that we get wrong, clearly. But
we get so much wrong. But I'll always come back to the thing that you get. I think that school will teach everybody to be workers rather than be an entrepreneur. They don't teach you tax. They don't teach you what council tax is. They don't teach you have to pay bills and all these things. They don't teach you these things that are important in life. But have you ever used algebra?
No.
Well, I have.
Well, you were a maths teacher, were you?
Physics.
Well, there we go. Right. So you've probably have. But the average Joe is not going to use that. You know, and I don't need to use a semicolon. I've never popped one in when I'm writing. You know, I've never done it. I've never popped a semicolon. I don't need to know this.
I can do that for you, can't it?
Yeah. But I just...
It's a system designed to keep you in your box, isn't it?
It's to be good boys and girls and do as you're told.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And then if you're misbehaving, you're out. You're excluded or whatever. I had a pass at school, weirdly enough, and I went into the I think it was called the Bridge Project or something, and I went in to sit there with a lovely lady called Miss Suffield, who looked like a hippie witch kind of woman, wore these tie-dye shirts, and I used to play chess with her, and they were just autistic kids and Asperger's kids in there with me. And now if I didn't fancy a lesson, I could use my pass, my bridge pass. It was like, today we're going to be doing photosynthesis. I don't feel right good, mate, sir. I feel like I need to go to bridge. I feel like I need to go to bridge. No, you need this. Oh, yeah, sound, but I need to go there to do it. There's flowers in there. That's fine. So I used to go in there in Miss Suffield, and she taught me more about life than anyone. She was great. She taught me about real life because it were 1-to-1. And it was like a bespoke way of learning. She was teaching me life skills.
Sorry, there's flowers in there. What an amazing thing. Oh, dear. So I'm just thinking, obviously, we've got a few things to cover because we want to know kind of two things. Like one, what your intentions are, what your plans are, what your goals are, etc. But I'm also conscious we've got about 9 million questions.
And I wanted to get on to something else. Obviously, you've got Ice Revive now.
Oh, that's something. Yeah.
Oh, like mate, I've got so much going on though. It's crazy. I'm splitting myself into 20 different
pieces. Just quickly, what made you want to do that? Going into ice baths, stuff like that. Do you think the research is there? Do you think it's beneficial for everyone to get?
Yeah. Well, obviously, because I've got a company, I'm not going to say, no, don't buy from me. No, but...
I tell you what, first time, like, after having 2 weeks of using one, I feel really good for it.
And you will. The dopamine that it releases when you use it, and also there's so much we could just talk about cold water therapy and cold water exposure and all these things that are just insane. But the research is out there, all the papers out there. Everyone knows who Wim Hof is now. And he's what we'd call like a founding father. He's someone who's now living amongst us that we're going to look back at in 100 years and go, this guy was a genius, and we're just not listening to him. He's been doing it for God knows how long, and his immune system is insane. It's insane. And they jabbed him with COVID, and his body killed it in seconds.
Oh, they had to give him 5 jabs, didn't they?
They gave him COVID straight in his arm. It were all under medical supervision. He's strapped up. He's got everything's on. They've jabbed him with it. His body killed it in seconds.
And everyone else got it bad, didn't they?
And because everyone else in the research in the controlled study, they all were ill, and they had to obviously do blood transfusions and sort them out because some of them got really ill. But Wim Hof killed it in seconds, and his immune system's so high, his testosterone levels will be so high, and we won't get common colds and flus and all these things that we attribute to as being normal. It's not normal to feel ill. It's not normal. People normalise it. It's like, I'll go see a doctor because I've got a flu. That's not normal. You shouldn't have the flu. We're going to get ill every now and again, but having regular colds and having to take this thing every single day of your life, being medicated, you're just another customer. See, to the big pharma companies, that's it. But with the ice stuff, why I got into it is because during COVID, when I was living in that little studio apartment on my own, a little bit
with all your powder,
with unbelievable amounts of powder in me,
white powder
in my gaff, I started doing cold showers, and I found that it started to just help me a little bit. It woke me up. It made me feel good. Then there's something about this. There really is something about this. So then I got my little geeky hat on, and away I went. And everyone were laughing at Wim Hof. Everyone were laughing at him. The New York Medical Journal, who were very, very, very influential, were saying that this mad hippie is talking shit. Wim Hof invited them along and said, if you want to come with us on this retreat, come along. And anyway, they came along, did loads of studies with him, and they went back, and now they're rewriting a lot of medical books because of him. And you watch in the next 20, 30 years, this will now take over a lot of what we normalise in terms of illnesses that will be obsolete. A lot of them, if the people listen to the cold water exposure, because where does bacteria grow? In nice warm environments. So we live in lovely warm houses with central eating processed foods. Our immune system's shot. And that is why they feed us vaccinations and stuff like that. You're a kid, from a baby, you've jabbed with loads of crap, aren't you? Measles, mumps, rubella, TB when you're younger, dead arm and all that when you're in, you're like, like year 10 when you got your TB and people like
they don't do it anymore, I don't think, actually.
Do they not do it at schools, no? I think you have to do it privately if you want in one, the TB.
Yeah, they don't do it in schools.
Because they used to come in, it'd be like a mad nurse, just jabbing kids at school. If you think about it, it's mental.
It is.
Like, your mum and dad have signed a piece of paper to say, pin my kid at school. If you think about it, it's pretty mad.
Yeah.
Under no
There's
doctoral...
no testy on this.
There's nothing. And you just go, yeah, I trust you. Bang. Here you go, put it in my arm. And then everyone's got a dead arm for a few days. Mine started mine got infected and stuff. And it was mad to think. So then I thought, with the ice stuff, I just thought, well, I can make money out of this as well, because that's how my brain always works. It always thinks, well, let's bite the bullet and have a go. So I found a supplier, came up with a name, Ice Revive, just rolled off the tongue. That started 3 months ago. I've sold over 300 tubs already. We haven't even scratched the surface of social media. We're just working on SEO and marketing at the moment. TikTok's obviously taken over as well. People are buying everything from TikTok. So, that's doing really well. And it's because I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to do it. And because I can back it up with data and science, I'm not going to start chucking apple cider gummies like everybody's doing now. This will make you lose loads of weight. It's not. It's bullshit. I'm sorry, but it is.
Do you remember? In fact, I wasn't going to name him then, but I thought the amount of shit he's given me over the years, I will do. Keith. Muscle World.
Yeah,
why gives me no, he used to always make me laugh, because he used to smoke. Still does. Smoke loads, drink John Smiths, have bags of pork scratchings, but he'd have his green tea tablets, and that'd...
Oh, that sorts everything else.
Green tea, I get... Yeah. There's some supplements that are just fucking useless.
Some of them are useless, and a lot of them are filled with just fillers, and the SARM industry's awash with absolute fake bollocks everywhere. Yeah, absolutely everywhere. If they're not third-party tested, and they won't give you the COAs... Do not even go anywhere near them. Always ask, where's your COA?
With that, though, obviously, when they do the third-party testing, are they just testing one tub, or is it... So the way we do it, we get the raw powders sent over. It's not in capsule form, which a lot of people are doing. They're getting capsules sent over. Right. So it's just capsules, so you don't know what's in them. And these guys are not testing them. We get it in raw powders, and we put it in the capsules. Because I bought a bankrupt stock capsule machine. Ah, shit.
It was it were $8,000 normally, about 20 odd. Yeah. And we've got one of them, and we do that all ourselves. You take a scoop out. We'll take 20 grams out, or a kilo out, depending on what it is and where we're sending it or whatever. We send ours to Palermo University in Italy, and they do it. They do it under controlled environments, and they stick their certificate on there, and boom. When we first started doing that, we had loads of companies popping up and using our certification and putting it on their website.
Wow.
The dirty little rats. And I wanted to just get... They're all faceless companies as well. They're all faceless. They just pop up, steal a lot of people's money, and then disappear.
Yeah.
And it happens on a daily basis, this. There's that many companies now who pretend to be us, pretend to be other companies, constantly trying to say, oh, you've won this prize, or you've done this, click this link, or there's so many different variations of SARM companies and supplement companies popping up, getting a quick buck and fucking off because people realise it's bunk. And then it gives everyone a bad name, and then we stopped putting our COA certificate. We stopped putting it on our website. So now people request it, it's there.
You can send them it,
Because 2 weeks later, I'm seeing my certificate on someone else's website. Then all they've done, because it's so easy with Photoshop and Canva, to go over the top and erase it and put your company logo on it, it looks a fish. It looks totally official. And it's like, you dirty rat. Do you know how much money I spend
to do that
on getting third-party testing? It's ridiculous. So, that's one issue that I've found. The supplement industry is very cliquey, though, isn't it? We all know that. Like, people are always like, these are shit, they're shit, whatever. But the best thing I love is I see trolls all the time online. I love responding to trolls. It's my favourite part of the day. I get called names so much, and you've got these little forums everywhere. It's shit, I use this company. I won't name the company, but I use this company.
Just little soldiers.
They buy from me.
Do they?
Yeah. It's my stuff in their bottle, and they go, they're shit, so I buy from X. And it's like... Keep buying from X.
Keep going.
Keep going.
You show me.
Yeah, go on, keep going. Because then our wholesale letter's going that. So, there's so many companies that just pop up doing this, and it gives everyone else a bad name.
But it's a weird one as well, because it's with it being SARMs and stuff like that. I suppose it won't be as heavily regulated as, say, like a whey protein powder.
Anyone can pop anything in a tub and put research chemical on it.
Yeah.
Anyone, we could right now do it. We could just get a tub of any old junk, go to Holland and Barrett, go buy some creatine tabs, bang them in there, put a little fancy label on it, and sell it for 60 quid, and go, that's ibuprofen, that.
Yeah.
And then 3-4 weeks later, that company's dissolved. It wasn't even a registered company. It's gone. It's not even there.
Well, it says it all that you've been doing it for a while. You've got that reputation.
5 years, 6 years now. Yeah. And I didn't know that I was going to go into this. No. I didn't know, but it started to do well. And then now I'm loving life in terms of, I just love I don't know if it's a rat race or whatever, but I just love it. I love people who doubt me. Yeah. I love it. I love because I see all the old lads, I see them just, they do little clicky stuff like in WhatsApp groups, and people like they'll screenshot it and send me, and I'm like, yes, keep doubting me. I love it. And now these guys come to me now for mates rates. It's like, jog on, fella, jog on, mate, no chance. So I just, it gave me, this supplement company gave me the leg up to do more things, and I love helping everybody out as well. I sponsor so many different projects around Wakefield. I sponsor a boxing club, football, Horbury football team, the local one. I've put money into that. I've got a race car driver who does masters. I've got APH on the side of his car. I give a portion of my profits to Andy Man's club, the mental health. Nice. I don't care about money in terms of, I don't have a massive lifestyle. I couldn't give a shit about driving a nice car. I don't give a shit about a massive house or a huge watch or whatever. I am not going to go like skint trying to look rich. Yeah. Because what everybody's doing now is going skint looking rich. And it's, I'm going to take a photo next to my new Range Rover that I'm paying $2,000 on finance for, and I can barely afford to eat. A mortgage. I don't give a shit. I'll get on bus. I'll get on bus, because we're both going to the same destination, and no one gives a shit what you drive and what you turn up in. If you've got no personality, you've got no personality. End of. Simple. I don't care how your Range Rover is. It's great, nice one. I got here with £1.20 on bus. It was class. Spoke to crackhead Kev. I had a right laugh. Do you know?
Sold him some powders.
Yeah, exactly. I've made a sale on bus. Got him into Ice Revive. So but the next venture I'm extremely excited about is the coffee. Going into coffee now.
Is that why you're going to? Is it Columbia?
I go to Columbia on the 5th of October. And I've set up the same spec, the same thing as the same structure as what I did with the Sam company. Right. I'm straight to source. I'm going straight to the farms or the fincas, because I've been learning Spanish since January. Nice. Online with a lovely girl from Bogota called Daniela, and I do 5 hours a week with her. And shit, man, I love it. And I just want to be able to speak their language. I want to be able to get a good deal. I want to be able to talk to the farmers. I want to be able to see what I can do to put back into their community while I'm there, rather than these big companies or wholesalers saying, yeah, we get it directly from the farm, but it's X, Y, and Z, it's this much. And like, how much are you actually giving to the farm?
They're exploiting them.
So I've got straight on it now with social media, now with the easy accessibility of everything. I've got in touch with so many different farms. Fly out to Bogota, doing 5 days there. We've got a couple of appointments, and I'm going to Medellin. I go to Medellin, and then I fly to Armenia, which is like a coffee triangle. So I go to Finlandia, Pereira, Salento, Manizales. These are all places that are full of coffee farms, and it's just about what is the best coffee bean, what is the best, and I'm going to be opening up my own coffee shops. Man, that's the next, and it's going to be called Café con Leche, which means coffee with milk. Everything's just set up. I've got all I want. There's so many different things of Colombia that just sound amazing that I want to incorporate into a shop. They do chocolate con queso, which is chocolate with cheese. It sounds really weird. Yeah, it does. But I haven't tried it yet. But as soon as I get that, that's the first thing I'm going to do. And they drink and eat it all the time. Right. So you just literally get cheese on a spoon and just dip it into your hot chocolate, wait for it to melt a bit, and bang it in. Right. Apparently the sweet and the salt is supposed to be unbelievable. Yeah. And I just think that is a niche.
Well, the fact that I hadn't heard of that.
No.
So again, it's
that as a niche as well, in a coffee shop or whatever, especially with all these, I mean, I don't like them, but I do. These Instagram influencers and all that will come along like, today I'm at this shop trying this because they've got that. Yeah. It's a niche thing, and it gets people through the door. I've already got a property lined up that I've put a deposit down on. Whether I decide to take it or not, I don't know yet, but I ain't even got the coffee bean yet. but I'll know when I know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's quality that you're actually going out there and visiting
so
these
cool.
farms. It's
I've got a local artist who's doing a mural on the wall for the shop, and it's going to be a journey of from farm to cup on the wall.
Yeah.
Pictures of me with the farmers and everything, and literally as soon as it goes into when it goes into the coffee cup, that's what you're drinking out of. That exact coffee cup that's on the wall.
Man,
you know where that beans come from.
Cool. That's so
and
good.
that's the idea. And
Yeah.
I just think manifesting it. Say it out loud. You'll do it. You have to do it now.
That's
Now I've said it. Now I've said it on a podcast.
Do you know what?
I have to do it.
Everyone said that.
Well, I was thinking that
Joe said that. Dambo said that. Taz said
there's
that.
so many similarities.
Them three lads you mentioned are successful in
All
their field
high
for a reason.
Yeah.
They're manifesting it. They're saying it out loud. I see Taz's videos and it makes me want to drop kick a grandma. He's like, whoa. Do you know what I mean?
Were sat here like,
That's a rave review.
He's
hypnotised.
He's mad, isn't he? He just makes you want to do stuff.
Yeah.
Dambo's a fantastic trainer, and you think, wow, I want to be like him. And what he's doing with the gym and the Bow Kitchen and stuff, I admire it. And there's never an ounce of jealousy with me like most people is. I want everyone to do better than me because it makes me work harder.
Well, you can sit and appreciate it, can't you? And you're like, oh, wow, I didn't think of that. That's
none of this.
Idea.
Oh, it's shit. Oh, it's shit. Don't go there. It's shit. Or like being bitter because that just makes you look like a right clown.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's honestly inspiring to sit here and listen to you. Like you go in and learning Spanish, then you go into Colombia.
It's working.
It's
working.
It's fucking amazing. It really is.
There's a guy. Oh, in fact, there's two people I work with quite closely.
La cuenta, por favor. Do you know that one? Can I have the bill, please?
Can I have the bill? La cuenta.
Go on,
pagar, pay.
There's two that like I work with that are both Spanish, and I ask them like things, and I try my best to kind of speak.
How do you say bastard in Spanish?
Bastardo.
Bastardo, yeah.
Yeah. Bastardo.
But there's a saying which you might know. Obviously, with this, it's called "me cago en la leche."
Me cago in no leche is the milk, but
yeah, it means I shit in the milk. But it means it's when you've
she
made
does. Weirdly enough, she's not taught me that.
That's when you need to know.
It's when you've made a mistake.
Yeah.
You go, oh man, me cago en la leche.
Shit in the milk.
I made a mistake the other day when I were on having my lesson with her. I went because it was right hot a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? And I said yo calor, which I thought, and I'm hot because calor means hot.
Yeah.
You're supposed to say caliente, which means I'm hot. What I did say was I'm horny.
Oh shit!
Nice.
She said,
That's
"Como está?" I went, "Oh, yo calor."
The other one that's quite funny is and from a school point of view, obviously when you're teaching like basic things, and one of the first things you like I've covered like Spanish lessons before. So pollo, when you're speaking obviously chicken,
is pollo
is very close to polla, which is dick. So
you got to be very careful with what you say. Like the double L is a jo sound. Jo, pollo. Como te llama, what is your name and stuff. The double L is like a J sound. And the J, is no point even having a J because it's like like giraffe is spelt with a J over there, but it's giraffe. But it's got a J on it. It's so mad, and they say everything backwards, so they'll put
the syntax.
It's weird. They'll put the main bit in the middle and then the bit at the end. So I can't think off the top of my head like an example, but I don't know. Like we'd say like the sky is blue. They'll say the blue is sky or something like that.
You said like cuántos años tienes would be like how old are you, but it's how many years do you have?
How many years do you have? Yeah.
So it's like the
Trienta y tres. So it's that would Trienta y tres is 33, but I'm saying 30 and 3.
Right. Yeah.
So it's mad.
It's hard to wrap your head around. It
is.
Keeps your brain healthy.
It's so hard. I'm struggling,
but it's fun though, right? Like that's the main thing.
I just love learning. I love it.
Yeah,
I enjoy it now. Like I never used to. Like I said at the start of the pod, I wasn't academic. I hated it. Now I couldn't think of anything better.
Stuff that you're interested
and sat in my front room with my glasses on, reading a book.
Yeah.
A bit of music in the background or something like that, and just a coffee, and just read. And I love it. And I'm reading on the next thing. What's the next thing? I'm never satisfied. I'm just what's the next thing? What's the next thing I'm going to do?
Again, that's another hallmark in it that I think Dambo and Taz and Joe have had. It's that never satisfied. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? Just that constant strive.
Yeah, definitely.
To do better. Do you want to have a look at
some of
the
questions?
Oh, we've got some questions that
we didn't set the egg timer off, but I feel like we've been going quite a while.
We have been going quite a while.
Have we?
Yeah.
Is it?
Right, so we've got there is a lot. Shall we just reel them off?
Go on, then.
We've kind of answered this. How did your journey in the supplement industry begin?
Yeah, we've covered that. I went out to Vietnam and where I went.
What challenges did you face when starting your business, and how did you overcome them?
Wow, we ain't got enough time to go through them all. But understand,
give us a big fuck up or a big challenge that
people trying to wipe you out, talking shit about you online constantly because you could please 10,000 customers, but they'll listen to that one negative one. If you go to a restaurant and you've had a good experience, you're not going to go and review it half of the time. No. You have a bad one, you're going to review it. You're going to review it. The biggest companies in the world, if you look at their Trustpilot, they are all shit. Apple, DHL, Hermes, or all these
they're obviously good.
Even though they're good, because they're multi-billion-pound companies, but these have got 1.3 rating. And another barrier to it all is the ads, marketing, everything getting shut down, posts getting censored. Our Trustpilot page got took down. We had over 1,000 5-star reviews that got took down and washed away immediately. You go on Trustpilot now and type in my company name, it says it weren't a good fit for the website.
Right.
That's it. No other explanation. That makes it look like we're fraudulent.
Time into building them.
And we've built a cohort of amazing people, and I love the people online. I also love the trolls. They're ace. Yeah. I get abused all the time, and I do a video segment responding to their videos.
I find them quite funny.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. Abuse me, because if you hadn't said it to my face, you hadn't said it. Yeah. It's easy to do this online. That's fine. I'll come see you if you want.
We'll have a.
Well, just say it to my face. Yeah. Like, if you've got the balls, like, do it. You know.
Did you ever get to the point with any of them problems where you questioned why you were doing it, or were it always
many times when I'm in a hammock in Vietnam, sweating my tits off?
Yeah.
Thinking I had a cushy little number back in England.
What am I doing?
And now I'm sweating my tits off. I'm ginger, so I'm not right good in sun. And now I'm like, what am I doing here? I'm waking up. I can't speak to anyone because I can't speak English. There's only one person who can speak English in the factory that I'm working alongside. Yeah. And that's it. Yeah, every single day I wanted to quit. Every single day, but I had nothing to come back to. I'd shit it all up the wall. I had no house. I had a girlfriend at the time that went before when I lost my job. Well, I fucking sacked my job. But everything went with it. Everything. Girlfriend, friends, you name it. Everything went. So I just went, right, start again.
Yeah, you had to win.
You don't grow in comfortable environments.
No.
That's what I learned. Throw yourself into the worst possible position where you can't get out of it, and you'll grow. Because you won't grow sat around. I've said this many times, and it's a very popular sort of saying. I think if you hang around with 5 alcoholics, you're at 6th.
Yeah.
Hang around with 5 druggies, you're at 6th. Hang around with 5 millionaires, you'll be at 6th as well.
Yeah.
And surround yourself with people who are like-minded like that.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Jim.
Gracias.
Oh, this is another. Yeah, gracias. Why is he heading to Colombia, keeping it very hush-hush? You've
I've just answered that.
Yeah. Cocaine run.
Cocaine, Ashgabat.
There's a good
I love that name.
Good chance here to plug your Supps. Which APH Supps would be recommended to each level of gym goer, and which of his own line is his go-to?
MK677 I think it's great because obviously it doesn't mess with your test levels. And it's something that you can jump on and off. You don't really have to cycle it as such. I mean, obviously you have to cycle everything in order to get the benefits from it. But for me, it would be that. Yeah. I think if you're just starting on something, depends what level they're talking about. Like creatine's a must, an absolute must. I think the stuff like I love Tonka Ali and I love Fadogia Agretis. I think I think they're 2 fantastic supplements. If you want to start taking SARMs at a low level, I'd go with Osterin first. Maybe 10, 20 milligrams of that for 8 to 12 weeks. See what you're doing. I will not ever tell people to take stuff though. No, it's your body. Do what you want. Who the hell am I to tell you? I'm just going to give you the literature. I'm going to tell you what it can do. It's up to you. I'll give you enough rope, but not enough rope to hang yourself.
Good raw ingredients as well.
Yeah, and they know that it's pure, and they know that it's all.
They know that
they know that I know my stuff, and I pride myself on that as well.
Ben asks how to verify SARMs actually having them, what's listed on the label. We've actually covered that as well.
Yeah, just COAs, but making sure that you've got the certificate of authorization from the lab and make sure it is third party tested and what are they testing for. Yeah. And don't accept anything that's below 98% purity because a lot of companies will get that purity, they will get it, but then they'll fill it with rice flour to get more.
Right.
More bang for the buck. So they'll fill it. Just like a drug dealer does. They'll get their gear and then they'll cut it with something else just to get more of the product, to fill more bags or fill more capsules. And that's what they're doing. I'll choose morals over profit any day of the week.
Yeah.
Any day of the week. Because I love sleep.
Yeah.
I want to have that going around my mind. Yeah.
So right. Yeah. In your opinion, what sets your supplements out in the market?
Pretty much covered that. I think, like
I don't think there is any. It doesn't pop out any more than any other. There's enough room in this industry for all of us. I'm not ever going to try and monopolize the industry. There's enough room for everyone.
Well, you've just said it there that you'd put morals above profit, which is definitely a good.
Yeah, these will sell. The supplements will sell themselves. Yeah, they will. And if they're backed by science and the work, magnesium that we sell, the magnesium citrate is backed by so much data. And I won't ever start putting stuff out there that I don't believe in. These apple cider gummies that everyone's taking now, and like you say with the green tea stuff, I just don't. If I don't believe in it, I'm not putting it on my website at all.
I've started doing that in shop. I've just stopped stocking shit that I don't believe in, because it gets to the point where people are coming in, they put it on counter, and I'll say to them, "Oh mate, you don't really need that." I'm literally dissuading people from buying shit.
But that's creating loyalty as well. I think that's creating a really good, because I'll recommend other companies. Yeah, all the time on my videos and stuff like that. So people will ask, I went, they're a great brand. They're a fantastic brand. Yeah. I don't know who they are, so I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to go, they're shit, get it from us. I'm not really, I'm not in this to do that. No. I'm in it just because I enjoy making money. Yeah. But I also have morals, like I said, and nothing makes me stand out more than anyone else. But I'm very honest with people on videos. And they can see the owner of the company talking about things and telling you, don't take this yet. Don't take it. That might be a reverse psychology. They might be going, oh, but he means take it. I don't mean take it. I mean, don't fucking take it. You're not ready yet. This is big boy stuff for like, you're 17, you're just starting. You know what I mean? No. Like I said, morals over profit.
Yeah. Should you run testosterone alongside a SARM/pro hormone?
Yeah, certain ones. Testosterone, Rad 140. I think a test base alongside that, possibly Legandrol as well. Test Cypionate, probably the best to run alongside, but a really small dose. Yeah. Again, all about your bloods. Check your bloods. Everyone needs to do it. Even if you're not taking any gear, get it checked yearly, just so you know your levels. Are you in the average range for your age as a man? Because testosterone levels are dropping extremely badly because of the stresses of life, processed foods, exposure to a lot more things that weren't around in 1970s. I think the equivalent now of a 25-year-old who's got the same testosterone as someone who in the 60s. In 1970, 73, something like that. I haven't got the data on me, but just Google it, have a look. It's scary. And that's to do with foods. That's to do with not getting enough sunlight. It's to do with routine, sleep. It's so many different aspects of it.
I've had 2 customers in shop who, young lads, both below 30, feeling like shit, tried this, tried that, nothing's improving. I've said to them, go get a blood test. One guy got it done privately, one guy went to doctors and got it done. One lad's wore 14 nanomoles per litre, and the other lads wore 8. These are guys that are like my age, and they were both classed as technically all right. Like the doctors would have been like, yeah, you're fine. And I'm like,
doctor's
fuck me.
Reference range though.
The range is so moronic. I don't like that the range is like
so big.
It's so big, and then when you're below, the range is so small.
Well, the guy at 8, I was like, fucking hell, mate. You should be like high 20s, really. No wonder you feel like shit. Exactly. And it's crazy that he can't go and get like TRT prescribed. He'll have to go onto the black market and do it. So, yeah. Where were we up to? Oh, this is quite an interesting one. That MK677 as a fat burner, and how long can you run it for?
As a fat burner, yeah, but it also depends on what you're eating.
If you can control your appetite.
You can sort of mimic it and help it by taking it at night. Because you're sleeping through the hunger period, but also it's going to get you anyway. So, but yeah, as a fat burner, it can work as a fat burner, but you've got to be so dead. If it's working and you've got the real stuff, you're going to be hungry no matter what. And it's about what you're reaching for. Are you reaching for highly processed goods and sugary snacks, or are you reaching for high protein? Are you having enough salt in your diet? Are you filling yourself up? Because majority of the time they're not.
Yeah.
And you can run it for, I don't know, like 16 weeks is a good amount to do, I'd say. And then check your levels. Obviously, like you said, with blood sugar, it's very important to check that.
Yeah.
It's very important to check that.
What would you get, like a little...
You can get you can get the diabetic kits on bloody Amazon now. You can just check, and then all you have to do with your pH strip, have a look. It'll tell you on in your pack what the normal level would be, especially like your weight and your height and your sex as well, because female will the blood sugar and the cortisol levels and stuff like that are all different because of time of the month, age, loads of other different loads of different factors come into play with this.
Yeah.
So, and the spike you have when you eat certain foods as well doesn't mean to say you're unhealthy. Doesn't mean to say you need something. It's just about understanding your body.
Why it's happening. Yeah. Is there any new APH products coming up?
Mushrooms. Looking into that. Not the magic ones, unfortunately. But yeah, we've got we're going to be launching them next year. So like lion's mane, shiitake, and we're going to be looking into the compounds of being able to put numerous different mushrooms into one capsule, but also getting enough benefit from it. Because I think if people put too much into one capsule, you're not getting the benefit of it. I don't like multivits. I think it's all bollocks when people put all different vitamins all into one tab, but you're getting like a milligram of each or something. People think Holland & Barrett's a health food shop. It's not.
No.
It's not. It's they're selling absolute bollocks
bastards.
all in there. Yeah. Most of it's underdosed. They're not certified. It's all shite. It's all bollocks. A lot of it. The only thing that's worth it in there is creatine, because you can't mess that up.
No.
Creatine monohydrate is creatine. That's it. It's just creatine.
Yeah. Have you heard of Zalaria?
Zalaria. No. As a mushroom?
Yeah.
I haven't really. I've literally just I've tapped the surface on it.
Yeah.
Lion's mane's the one that I've looked into most because of cognitive ability and the brain function, because that's something I struggle with in terms of focusing.
Yeah.
So, no, I haven't even scratched the surface on
it's
mushrooms.
Amazing. And it's underrated. Yeah. Really good for sleep, anxiety, depression, stuff like that. So,
well, watch the space then.
Yeah.
APH mushies coming soon.
You'll be the first. Yeah, there's one. I mean, we're doing it. It's in our sleep formula. There's another company doing it. They bet us to it. So probably be the third if you. It's
not about beating anyone to it though, is it? It's about
it's
the way I look at things, especially when the coffee stuff's coming.
Yeah.
I look at other companies and I don't think, they've monopolised the market, I can't do it. I think,
what
are they doing? And I'm going to do it better.
It's a weird one, because it's like you put a certain ingredient in your formula and now you've got like other companies like, we're going to put that in there now. Because I know Alpha Neon, obviously, Adrian at Alpha Neon, he did a lot of shit that were different years and years ago, 5-6 years ago. And I know it probably pissed him off a little bit, because now every fucker does it. There's so many formulas that are replicating some of his stuff. So
it's all bollocks as well, half of it. They don't even tell you how much is in it, some of them.
No.
Just label it, it's in there. Well, how much is in there?
Yeah.
You have to scroll down and a little drop down on their website, and it'll tell you little bits of like 0.2 milligrams of this is in it.
It's crazy. There's
marking it as this.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, there's a lad who comes in shop. I've been good mates with him for years. He's a runner, and he were using some stuff, and I was like, send me alt panels on it. He was using a sleep product. I'll send me the website, whatever. I went on there, and there's no way you can find the nutritional labels. Like, what the fuck? Why would you buy that?
Magnesium for sleep. Magnesium. Honestly, just magnesium. It's it's not expensive.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the most researched products. It's unbelievable, magnesium.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Oh, this is quite interesting as well. Is there any benefit to putting electrolytes in your water other than Himalayan salt? So I suppose
depends what they mean by electrolytes. What electrolytes? Are we talking them tabs and stuff? Salt is Himalayan pink salt, fantastic. 84 different nutrients in that.
Yeah,
the body needs and body craves. It's unbelievable. Celtic sea salt is another one. Absolutely incredible. If you want a good pump in the gym, have Celtic sea salt in water. Have a gram of it in a 2 litre bottle of water. Have that about 30 minutes before you go to the gym. Watch the pump. Unbelievable. And everything that we do, saliva, piss, whatever, sweat, it's all salt. It's
and most
all
people
salt.
are.
Yeah.
People eating clean aren't eating enough salt.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not. We're not talking the processed salt either. We're not talking that white stuff that's had everything taken out of it. That's been processed, ultra processed. That's had all of its mineral count taken out of it. That's why, obviously, Himalayan pink salt is pink. It's a different colour, but Celtic sea salt is grey. It's not white. You won't look at it and go, that's salt. You
Yeah.
go, that's gravel or something. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I use Celtic sea salt, but it's found in Grenade in France. And it's unbelievable. And I've done this for years with salt. Used it all the time because we lose so much salt in a day.
Yeah.
Salt were demonised because the sugar companies bought off all the doctors in the 70s and 80s to put research out there to say that sugar is all right for you. You can have 40 gram a day. Bollocks. And you're only supposed to have 4 gram or 2 gram of salt a day.
Yeah.
What's a lot of nonsense? It's because all these doctors got paid off to tell you that Tate and Lyle's sugar is the best thing ever and salt causes high cholesterol and the amount of minerals that you absorb from salt is unreal. It helps with blood flow. It helps with your sleep. It helps with just being fucking alive. Simple.
Yeah,
we came from the
Always a
ocean.
bonus, isn't it?
We came from the ocean.
Well, yeah, you still get it, don't you? Like,
well, unless you believe in God. But, you know, we evolved from that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's mental, honestly. It's crazy.
fair play. This is the last one, to be fair. There weren't actually that many. What's the best piece of advice you would give the younger version of yourself?
Don't do drugs. Or maybe, I don't know. Best piece of advice. Don't waste time. Don't waste your years. Don't waste feeling sorry for yourself because no one really gives a shit. Don't overthink in terms of, what do they think about me and trying to fit in with the crowd. I don't give a shit now. I don't care what people say about me. I'm not interested. I care about little comments. I don't care about whatever. Just you concentrate on your own lane and I'll concentrate on mine.
Yeah,
but you're not going in the same path as me.
Yeah.
So I'm not interested. So just don't overthink too much about trying to fit in because I knew I was different.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue to be different because that's what sets me apart.
Yeah.
That's why the guys that I used to hang about were in dead-end jobs. And that's why I get to fly around the world and do what the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Do you know? That's as simple as that. And
Yeah,
it's not sounding cocky. It's not cocky. It's confidence.
it is,
It's not
yeah.
arrogance, you know? So, yeah, that's probably what I'd say.
Right.
Perfect, Ash, yeah.
That's a
I
good.
feel like it is a very good ending, but I kind of want to know what's in the pipeline for the future. So obviously you got your coffee, there's the ice bath thing going now, there's APH Science.
Yeah, there's loads of different things I'm doing. I'm going to invest with my missus in a dog grooming business as well.
Sick.
I'm going to help her and start that up. I've got, this is another weird random thing. I've got a portable ATM machine. I swear.
It's like that
this
scene
is so
off
mad.
Breaking Bad, isn't
It's
it?
so
Obviously.
fucking mad, honestly.
Yeah.
I was in an escape lounge room thing in the airport.
Yeah.
I was talking to a guy in Taiwan when I was getting my connecting flight to Australia last August. And I was talking to him. My flight got delayed. We got chatting with a few beers. He told me what he was doing. He had a property development. He said, I've got loads of ATM machines as well around the world. I was like, how the fuck do you get into that? He went, because cash is not king no more. These people, these companies are just getting rid of these cash machines.
Yeah.
And you can just renovate them and negotiate with the council a plot and then negotiate with the banks and the G4S security guys to refill it for you. £3.50 for people in London to get their money out from this ATM machine I've got. I see about 35 pence of that every time it's used. It's mental. And when the Prince Charles was like inaugurated or whatever you call it, king, whatever it was, the amount of people who were using it, there were 6 million tourists in London that day.
Yeah.
And people were just using it constantly. And it's like cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Got
The bank and the council take pretty much all of that. I'm
Most
taking
of it,
hardly
yeah.
anything from it. But the 35p,
Passive though, isn't it?
it's crazy. You just have to have the startup cost for the ATM machine.
Yeah.
You buy one, renovate it, whatever, get it set up, make
Yeah.
sure that it's got because you've got insurance and a lot of crap that comes with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna get a few more of them.
Sick.
Yeah, because people are throwing them away because they're just tapping cards all the time.
Yeah.
But mine's near a casino, which is amazing.
Oh, God.
You can't contactless on roulette, can you? You know what I mean? You might be able to soon, but it's 20 quid on
Them
red.
cash machines are the worst.
They are.
It's the
and
last thing you want.
it is, yeah. But
Casino.
I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm going to do. I will open up my own a boxing foundation. That'll be something that I'll do. But we'll see. Wherever the tide goes, wherever's money been made, that's where I see it. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I'll see something that works, and I will look into it and think, how can I do that better, or what's needed? Because of AI ruining everything and the high streets being dead, everything's online. How do you make money now? Where can you make it? Like, what's always someone going to need? I always think about funeral directors. I think about that.
Yeah.
I genuinely think about them
die.
things. People spend 20 grand on a funeral, and you think, well, there's never going to be stop people dying, is there? How can I get into this? It's not a dying trade. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
you can literally make money from this, so
alive.
how do I make it? And that's where I'll always be. I'll always think, what's
Sick.
the next one? What's the next one? So we'll see.
Quality.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
job
thanks for
done.
coming down.
Yeah,
Not a
thanks
problem
so
at all.
much.
It's
That
been
were
my
amazing,
pleasure.
mate.
It's been enjoyable being back in Wakey for a bit, to be fair, 'cause don't live around here no more. It's nice to see some people.
Every so often, mate.
Yeah,
I
oh, no,
can imagine
every
it's-
so often. Like, my
yeah.
accountant looks and goes, you go like Australia, Thailand, but why is there like 19 visits to Wakefield a year? In hotels, like shitty Ramada Inn and stuff, like, because
Home is where the heart is.
Yeah,
mate.
yeah.
So, yeah.
It's great.
Cheers, Ash.
Not a problem at all.
Yeah.
You're an absolute legend, mate. Absolute pleasure, guys. Pleasure.